Okay, let's do some. Let's cover some news. Did you guys hear what happened a couple days ago? Or wait, was it yesterday? Fucking Richard Simmons, an actual American legend. He was our kind of like our gay Steve Irwin. Wait, he was not gay? Oh, my bad. I just fake news to you guys. Wanted to see if this cat person. Oh, she's making a Twitter space. Okay. We might talk about this a little bit more later. I don't know how much we'll talk about it at all. There's really not much for me to say. I'm tired of getting gaslit for years. That I have to pretend that both sides of the political aisle right now are making coherent arguments, or that they have the same moral authority to lead. The fact that, like, when I have to describe events to people in real life to make my case, I feel crazy because of how much conservatives have dictated all of the media cycles. I wrote shit down. It doesn't even matter. There's no point even going over it. I don't even care. Well, I do, but they don't. The people that support Donald Trump in this country have lost every conceivable tie that they have to calling themselves moral American citizens that would support this country. The road that the Republicans have taken us down and their support for an insurrectionist president leaves me with absolutely zero pity for anything that happens at any fucking event. The strongest form of an argument that I would even consider entertaining is maybe you shouldn't laugh at them if something happens, and you'd have to argue hard for that. But to express sympathy, you're way, way, way the fuck beyond that. I think that people think that politics is either a way to generate ad revenue or a way to have fun online. And if that's the case, then have fun and knock yourself out. But it's not a fucking game. And what we're supposed to have endured over the past 8 years, when half of this country is rotted to the core, is insane. So, no, I think that if you're a Trumple and you're asking for sympathy when something goes awry at one of your events, when you've been supporting a guy who is avowedly anti-democratic and who tried to insurrect the government, who has managed through party, legal, and extra-legal means to avoid culpability or responsibility at every single step of the way, that the party of rule and law is the one who wouldn't convict in the Senate because they said he wasn't a sitting president anymore, the guy who pardoned every single friend and ex-campaign member that he had, who the Supreme Court decided that they didn't actually like the 14th Amendment anymore, so they were going to toss that because it wasn't fair to Trump. The guy who is probably going to have all 4 of his cases tossed because of the Supreme Court ruling deciding that the president actually is immune from criminal probes. Miss me with that shit, fam. And miss Trump, you know? Less swing voters that way, I guess. I'm so far over dealing with the Trumples, who are the worst, I think, that America has to offer, trying to tone police or trying to beg for sympathy. Nah, fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy. Fuck Trump. Fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay, just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%. And if you tweet any shit about Putin or whatever, I'm going to throw it up on the retweet. I'm going to put you right on the picture next to Babbitt and Corey, and we're all going to fucking make fun of you. And that's what should happen, because fuck you, okay? Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you, okay? That's all I wanted to say. We might go over it more later, but... Trying to do a Twitter space. This person. How about your parents? If they get their brains blown out at a rally, would you have the same attitude? They are democracy-hating insurrectionists after all. One, you're permaban for asking a stupid question, because the obvious answer two is, listen, they're adults. They make their own fucking decisions. If you want to support an insurrectionist president, then whatever comes of that that's your consequences. Again, it's not a fucking joke. My mom is an immigrant to the United States of America. She was 5 years old. Her parents worked really hard to get her here. She served for 20 years in the Air Force, along with my dad. They know exactly what they're doing. They should know exactly what they're supporting. It was my mom that, ranted at me for over a decade about how evil the USSR and Putin and all the Chi-Coms and all that shit. So whatever, if they go to a rally and they whatever the fuck, it's less end of life cost for me to deal with. It's on them. That's their decision. You think I'm gonna fucking lose sleep over that? No. We all have our own paths to walk in life. We all have our own decisions to make.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining the space. Destiny, I'm going to invite you as a speaker, so you just have... Okay, we can wait for a minute until he connects, and when he is connected, he can unmute himself and speak. Can you hear me now, Destiny?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can everyone by show of hands, can you guys hear us okay? Just drop like a heart or a hello.
I'm muting them for a sec. This is going to be how every single conservative debate should go. If you debate a conservative, this is how every single one should go until the election. This is going to be a walkthrough fight, okay?
So I just wanted to create this space because there was obviously a huge event happening yesterday. And as maybe some people saw, there's a lot of arguing going on about Trump and who he is and all that stuff. So I just wanted to chat with Destiny, hopefully respectfully, and just hear his thoughts about why he says the things that he does about Trump, and maybe share some of my own thoughts. Maybe he'll dance circles around me, maybe not, because he's a very skilled debater. I'm not a live streamer. He does this for a living. This is just a hobby of mine. So thanks, Destiny, for coming on and chatting. And yeah, where did you want to start?
Yeah, I guess firstly, wait, so what is your current political affiliation? Or like, who do you like support or whatever? Like,
I'm in Canada. I'm actually in Canada. I don't know if you know that about me. I'm in Canada and I'm conservative.
In Canada and you're conservative. Okay, so I can assume that you support Donald Trump or whatever?
Yeah, I think he did a good job when he was president. I don't think he's the monster that people make him out to be, or like the criminal that people make him out to be. I think, as brash as he is and some of the things that he says in a bombastic Trump way, I don't think he's as bad as the media tries really, really hard to portray him.
Okay. Do you acknowledge that
Yeah.
he led an insurrection against the U.S. government and he tried to steal power?
I don't think he did that. I don't see evidence of him saying he incited an insurrection. I think I watched him call for peace on video. I saw the tweet that he put out saying, "We want peace. We're the party of law and order." Like, I don't think that you can ascribe insurrection to those words.
Are you aware that Donald Trump organized 7 different sets of people to fake an elector vote in 7 different states in the United States with the goal of sending those elector votes to Congress and then begging and then pressuring Mike Pence, first with words and then with violence that he directed on the 6th, in order for him to unilaterally toss the election by either selecting those electorate votes, the fake ones that he submitted, or by having the House choose Donald Trump to be the president against the will of the American people? Are you aware of any of that?
I haven't seen him using any kind of threats of violence against Mike
Excuse
Pence.
me.
So could
I'm
you?
sorry. Excuse me. I didn't say anything about a threat of violence. I don't know who you're talking to or what you're responding to. I just asked you very specifically for the thing that I just laid out. Are you aware of any of that? Do you know any of that?
I believe you said something about violence.
Okay. Let me restate. Okay.
Okay.
Donald
All right.
Trump organized 7 different sets of people, okay, in 7 different states to send in fake votes, okay, to Congress essentially, in order to pressure Mike Pence, okay. First it was
Okay.
words.
Pressure Mike Pence. Okay.
Well, first
Pressure.
it was with
Okay.
words. He begged him to do it behind the scenes multiple times, and Pence said no because he's not a traitor to the fucking country. And then the second time is he called his crowd of people that he gathered on the 6th and then sent them to the Capitol grounds to protest, with the goal of getting Pence to choose the fake electorate votes that he sent in to Congress. Are you aware of any of that?
What is the evidence for that, though?
It's laid out in the indictments, and nobody denies any of it. If you want, you can go to YouTube, and if you want, I'll wait 5 minutes right now for you. You can go on YouTube, and you could go, "False electorates try to enter Capitol," and there are videos that will pop up. The first one says, "Republicans try to deliver their own electoral votes to Michigan Capitol." There are people that are being charged in multiple states right now for perjuring themselves, saying that they were the duly elected, appointed representatives of their state to cast their electorate vote. Nobody denies this. Nobody denies
Okay.
this. Okay? So you're
Okay.
not aware of any
All
of
right.
this.
I haven't heard of that story. No.
That's another way of saying you're not aware of any of this. So, okay, so step 1, okay, let's assume that what I just said is true because nobody's denying it. And Trump's defense against this is to ask for criminal immunity. You're aware of that, right? That Donald Trump's way of defending himself was to go before the Supreme Court and say, "I need to be immune from criminal prosecution." Are you aware of that?
Well, I wasn't following it that closely, so no.
Okay, well, are you aware that Donald Trump, his attorney went before the Supreme Court and was granted criminal immunity for the first time in all of U.S. history for an ex-president, that now the office of the presidency enjoys absolute criminal immunity and presumptive criminal immunity for basically every action a president can take? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. How many videos have you seen of Joe Biden stumbling down some stairs or having slurs or forgetting words in his speech?
Well, they are floating around. I've seen some of those.
Yep. Do you understand that this is a problem? That you have absolutely no fucking idea what's going on in my country, what's going on in my... Let me finish, please, and then you can go. You talk as long as you want.
Sure.
You don't know what's happened in my country. You don't know what's happened with my government. You don't know any of the things that Donald Trump has been involved in. But I bet if I go through your Twitter, I can find 50 million videos of Joe Biden with his stupid fucking open mouth or slurring some word. Do you think that's an issue?
Well, I think the president being fit is an issue. Yeah, for sure.
What about being
He
an
needs to be.
insurrectionist?
I don't believe he's an insurrectionist.
Oh, what did I just lay out then that either doesn't qualify for insurrection or isn't true from what I just said? Or if you want, you can admit that you have no idea what I'm talking about and you need to go back to the drawing board before even beginning to have an opinion on this topic.
Well, I can have an opinion because free speech exists, so I can say what I want to say.
First of all,
You don't.
no. Number one, no. You're a Canadian. You have no guarantee of free speech. Number two, that's obviously not what I meant. You obviously are entitled to an opinion. I'm saying that was a shorthand for to have a well-formed opinion that merits consideration. Right? If you're not even
Well,
aware of any of the major events
okay.
happening in this country, I don't know how you can have a strong opinion on whether or not Donald Trump is an insurrectionist or not.
Well, I see what the media says about the current events, and I see the media pushing and saying things like, to serve his country, President Biden should drone strike Donald Trump. And to me, that seems like not very appropriate thing to say for as an advice for the current sitting president. And that doesn't seem like a strong uphold of democracy or decency, as they would say, because they said decency was on the ballot.
If Rachel Maddow told you that walking on sidewalks was dangerous, would you walk in the street?
No.
Then why are you citing me something that the media said and then giving me your 4 year? Do you have children? Do you react to everything like a child? If the media says something you don't like it, do you just take the opposite position without giving a single original thought yourself into what you're actually being told? Or is your entire ideology defined by reactionism?
No, I'm not ideologically possessed. I agree with certain things that sometimes the liberals say, and I can disagree with certain things that conservatives do.
Okay,
It's not,
that's
it's
fine.
not like, yeah, it's not like I watch, state Canadian media and take the opposite stance of everything they say because twice a day a broken clock is right. So
Cool.
it's not
Okay,
an
so
issue for
then
me.
I think we can, going back to the insurrection thing, if every part of what I laid out was true, if Donald Trump slated false electors in states, had that sent to Congress, and knowingly gathered a crowd of 50,000 whatever people, and then sent them to the Capitol building in the hopes that they would protest to pressure the fake electors being chosen, do you think any of that qualifies as an insurrection?
Would I have to be an expert in insurrection law to state that one way or another?
But you don't have to be an expert in insurrection law to say confidently that it wasn't.
Well, perhaps you're right about that, but like I said, I refer to his actual words that he put out on social media and on video saying that he's requesting for peace.
You understand
And
that that came after he was begged for hours while he and his crony, corrupt fuck Giuliani made phone calls to sitting congressmen inside of the lockdown building, right? That he was calling them, pressuring them to delay the certification of the vote. It was hours after that that he finally went on Twitter when the insurrection had failed and said, okay, guys, we need to go home.
well, like I said, I wasn't following it
Then
24/7,
why do you have an
maybe
opinion
like,
on it? You
well,
weren't following
because
24/7. You were following it 0-0. You have no idea what happened on any of this. Why do you think you should have an opinion on any of this?
well, I told you I can have an opinion if I want.
You can,
And
but then people should like make fun of you and like bully the fuck out of you for it, right? You have literally no idea about any of this. It wasn't that what our original tweet was over? Is that I think I called you didn't I call you a hack fuck? It seems like I was correct, right? You have absolutely no idea about
well,
literally any of these issues.
yes, okay. Maybe I haven't followed the case as closely as you have,
Hold
but
on, not closely. You don't even have any idea. You have no concept. You don't know anything about what I'm talking. You don't even know when an electoral vote is, do you?
of course I do. Of course I do. It's what the United States has for their electoral process. We have a similar process here in Canada. It's not majority vote. It's not democracy. It's a constitutional republic.
Okay, if you know what an electoral vote is, do you think it's acceptable for people to try to fake them, like Donald Trump did in 7 different states?
Well, like I said, what is the evidence that he faked those? What is your evidence for that?
What would you want to see? What if I could show you hypothetically 7 different certifications filled out with false electors? I can send you a YouTube video of these people literally gathering outside in Michigan in the courthouse. Hold on, here's a YouTube video for that. I can go on Obsidian and I can find you the if anybody has a quick link to the like they have photographs of all of the of all the fake things that they filled out, pretending that
Well,
they were the.
they also have photographs and video of people, stuffing ballots and bringing out bags and security footage from places where people are voting, and they were putting up tarps over the windows, and
Are you
they
aware?
were.
Are you aware that every single one of those was investigated, and that every single one of those was heard before a court? and that every single one of these except for one was shot down, a lot of them by conservative judges that Trump himself or at least his administration appointed?
Well, like I said, I wasn't following this case 24/7, so no, I wasn't following the procedures that came out of that.
Okay, but you've seen pictures of it, right? Are you embarrassed or ashamed that you've had like strong opinions about this because of pictures that you've seen, because of dipshits like Elon Musk feeding you lies on Twitter?
Dustin, you don't have to be that rude. I'm being really respectful.
Hold on,
I'm
no, no,
not
no, no,
sure
wait,
why
wait.
you're
Hold on. I need you to understand something so much, okay? You're not being respectful. You're actually fucking evil, okay? This idea that you can
I
walk
don't believe
around
I'm
and as
evil.
long as, that's great, I don't care. The idea that you can walk around and as long as you say the worst type of shit imaginable in a nice enough voice, that you should be treated with respect is absurd. Right? In no other function in life would anybody ever be treated that way. You have no concept of anything related to the insurrection. You have no concept of what's even happened aside from what you've seen, I guess, on Twitter and the media. But you're out here tweeting along with every other insurrectionist supporting fuckhead in my country about how Donald Trump is treated unfairly in the media and Joe Biden isn't fit to be president. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about for any of this, though.
Hey, do you think it's okay for Joe Biden voters to, make like a life-sized version of Trump and like put a fake guillotine over him, or to hold up bloody severed heads of him and things like that? Do you think that contributes to anything that's happening in the States?
Nope. I think that to the first question, I would say, no, that's not acceptable. Were Democrats or protesters doing that outside of the Capitol building, except instead of a guillotine of Trump, were they talking about Mike Pence? And were they doing that because the president of the United States said that they needed to pressure Mike Pence, and that when Mike Pence wasn't accepting the pressure, he tweeted out that Pence has failed us? Did that happen? Do you remember any of that? Or is that another thing that's conveniently mind wiped from your
I
brain?
saw that tweet. So I saw that. You don't have to insult me. Like there's no need for that. I saw that tweet, and I saw some people calling for Mike Pence for whatever they were calling for him.
To be clear,
I
hold on,
don't
just to be
think
clear, they
that.
were calling for his assassination because he wasn't willing to finish the insurrection, to finish the coup that Donald Trump and Eastman had set up for him.
Okay,
Just to be clear,
well,
yeah.
I don't believe that a few crazies represent the majority.
They do.
So,
But they do.
no,
Why would you say that? The
I don't
president
think
called them
so.
there in a speech. He gave them exactly the words that they needed. He said that Mike Pence is the one who needs to toss basically the election for us. He's the only one that we can rely on. He told them that we need to make sure that our electorate slates are counted. And then he sent them to the Capitol building to pressure the people there to do whatever it is that they were supposed to do, which was to steal the election.
But did he tell them to call for his assassination? Did he incite them to do that? Is that what you're
Did
saying?
he
Like
incite them? Yes, he laid
didn't
out
say
every
those
single.
words.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, ma'am. So he needs to say the exact words. You need to go assassinate someone for him to be culpable. In that case, you would agree then that there is not a single Democrat in leadership that you would hold responsible for any amount of violence, right? Unless, are you going to show me? Are you going to show me some kind of tweet or video of a Democrat saying we need to kill conservatives? Have you seen a single one of those?
I've seen some crazy statements coming from Democrats.
I didn't
that
ask for crazy
either
statements. I asked, were there explicit calls for violence where they said we need to go kill conservatives?
Okay, so like I don't have a photographic memory. I believe I've seen similar things, maybe not by elected Democrats, but Democrat voters
Oh, wait,
saying
excuse me.
that they need
Democrat
to.
voters? What does that have to do with anything? I was talking about the president of the United States. And now you're going to appeal to an average everyday citizen like they have the same level of moral responsibility
Okay,
or political
but Trump
culpability?
but Trump did not call for his followers to go and do something insanely violent.
Yes, he did.
That's
He
what I'm
called
saying.
for them to go march to the Capitol grounds and to protest the certification of the vote in the United States of America, to prevent the peaceful transfer of power, which is what they did for some number of hours.
A protest is a legal proceeding. You can protest peacefully.
Did they
Unlike,
protest peacefully?
I believe they did.
Really? How did
I
the ones get
believe I
inside the
saw
building?
a guy. I watched a guy saying we need to go into the Capitol, and people were around him saying, no, we do not need to do that. There was law enforcement nearby. They were saying, this is what these crazies are saying. You need to do something. Why aren't you doing anything? I saw windows
How
being
did they
smashed.
get into the building?
Well, from video footage, it shows them just walking in as
Hold on,
security
excuse me.
guards.
Do you think that the first people that got into the Capitol, do you think they just walked in?
Well, did you see them just walk in?
No, they didn't, because I actually watched the videos, ma'am. Have you seen any of them? Have you seen any footage that doesn't come from Tim Pool, Elon Musk, Steven Crowder, The Daily Wire, Tucker Carlson? Have you watched any original
Yes,
reporting on this whatsoever?
yes,
Or have you
I've
literally
well,
exclusively watched whatever conservative shit down your throat?
no.
So
Okay.
then let me ask, hold on,
Like,
real
is
clearly,
the
wait,
just
real
one sec.
clearly,
Can I respond?
how did the first people get into the Capitol building?
Can I respond?
Sure.
Would you consider CNN original content, or like
I'm just
what do
curious
you
if you
mean by
watched any
original
non-right wing,
content?
like any actual reporting on it, not like a pundit.
Do you consider CNN in
CNN is a
places like
news
that?
network. There are pundits that are on CNN, just like Fox News is a news network, and there are pundits that are on Fox News. There's reporting, which is when people do reports. Usually there are cameras involved, and then there are pundits. So people like Tucker Carlson or Anderson Cooper would be a pundit.
Yes, yes, I understand what you mean. Okay, I was just trying to clarify. So you're telling me that there's video that exists of people violently approaching the building and breaking their way in? Is that what you're saying?
You're you can't honestly be seriously asking me that question. Are you not aware that it is uncontested that the first people that went into the building broke in? Are you telling me right now that you don't believe that to be the case?
Well, I'm just asking you if there's footage of it that
There
exists.
is
That's what I'm
plenty of
asking.
footage, yes. And now I'm asking you, are you under the impression that the first people that got into the Capitol building that they walked in?
From what I've seen, there was security guards standing. People were walking in, and I even recall. I hope this is accurate. I even recall some saying, "I don't agree with this," but he was just letting them walk in. So yeah, that's what I saw. And the only violence that I saw that was happening, like broken windows or the guy shouting there, standing, I think his name was Ray Epps. I think he was standing and shouting and saying, "We need to go into the Capitol." And people around him were appalled at what he was saying,
Nope,
and they
you're
were
not true.
shouting,
That's
"No,
not
no, we
true. You're
don't."
lying and you didn't see that, okay? You saw that the night
Yes.
before. No, because I'm sorry. I watched all of these videos with Ray Epps. It's one of the favorite of you conservatards, okay, to try to blame everything on him, all right?
Well,
Which
there's
is
no need
also.
to insult. Like
No, there is.
you don't
You
have to
need to be.
insult
You
me.
needed to be bullied so much more in life, okay? Jesus fucking Christ, okay? The
You don't,
videos
but
of
you
Ray
don't know
Epps
anything about
calling.
my life. Why?
I know
Why do
enough
you?
about you. I know enough about you to know that your opinion is worthless and that you are one of the strongest arguments for why there should be an IQ limit to actually get onto social media and post opinions about politics.
Is that how free speech works, Destiny?
No, unfortunately, I guess not.
Like, are you for free speech?
Generally. Good thing we're on a
Okay,
social
so
media platform that's privately owned right now, so freedom of speech isn't really a topic for discussion here. What do you think free speech means in the United States, by the way? Do you think that means that corporations have to host every single thing that's said on them?
well, I view the space that we're currently on, Twitter, as the town digital square. So I believe free speech should apply on this platform because no one stands in the town square anymore. It's kind of an outdated concept. So
Okay,
this
and
is
if
what
I
it's
declare
become.
your basement the town square, can me and my friends go hang out there and like have some drinks? Why would I care what your individual determination is for some particular space online? You realize that it's totally irrelevant to anything that exists in law or the Constitution, right?
Okay, so how do you see free speech then? So you see that
I'm
this platform
I have
free
absolutely
speech
no
does not apply
desire. I have
here?
no desire to discuss this topic with you. Maybe for another time. But
Okay.
you're unaware then? Because I can start linking you like video, like for all the violent videos that you saw of people that were breaking in or of people that were fighting cops or whatever. Where do you think that came from? Do you think it was like just lifted from Baltimore and they said it was the Capitol building, or
Like there was a crowd of people in front of the White House. So what do you mean like lifted from Baltimore? I don't understand what you mean.
for the people
Can you
that were
explain that?
breaking in? How do you think?
Yeah, I saw
Why were they
windows being
breaking in?
broken. I saw windows being broken, and I saw people saying, "What are you doing?" And then I saw uh, law enforcement being around and not doing anything about it. And I presume the law enforcement that's there on the grounds of this official building, should have done something about it, but they didn't, and that was confusing. And so, and the majority of the people were there, as you said, protesting under allegedly Trump directing them there to go and protest and be violent and whatever it is that you said. Like I think they were opposing the actions that were happening.
Why do you think the cops
Pardon?
didn't stop them?
I don't know. Why wouldn't they stop them?
Because there weren't enough of them, because nobody knew that Donald Trump was going to invite and send his whole crowd of insurrectionists to the Capitol building to try to delay the certification of the vote.
Well, why wasn't there enough? Like, if people thought that he was so bad, why wouldn't they bring reinforcements?
It's not really relevant to the question.
Why not?
Because it's not relevant. It doesn't contradict any of the underlying facts.
For example, people like Pelosi and all.
No,
all
I'm
the
sorry.
Democrats.
Excuse me. No, Pelosi has nothing to do with this. If your strongest counter argument is, well, maybe Pelosi should have called for more guards to fight against Trump's insurrectionists. I mean, like, what the fuck kind of argument are you even making there? Like,
I don't think he called for insurrectionists again, but if
what was it?
Like I said, if
what was he calling people? What were they going to protest?
Can I just finish the thought?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I just finish the thought? So, like, if these people who were saying Trump is literally Hitler and he's the devil and he needs to be taken out or whatever it is that they said, like, if that was their belief about him and they kept saying, Hillary said he's an illegitimate president and all these things, wouldn't like their first instinct, like they said he's a threat to democracy, he's a dictator, he's this, he's not, wouldn't their like instinct be to, on the day where they would, they thought that he would do something crazy, to make sure there was enough guards, to make sure there was enough people to stop some of the
when Hillary said that Trump was an illegitimate president, what was she referring to? You don't even know. Do you even know what speech it came from or what she was talking about? Yeah.
She was talking about Trump, and she was saying he knows he's an illegitimate president. Like, that sounds like election denial to me.
Okay, well, it's not. You should go look up the context of like some of these speeches rather than just going by the tweets that you see that are shoved down your throat.
So help me understand.
No,
so
I don't. Well, wait, no, hold on. What I want to help you understand first is I want you to watch this, and I just want you to talk through with this. I want you to talk me through this, okay? I'd like go to 15:30 and tell me what are we watching? What's happening here?
What do you mean? Like, you sent a link? You want me to go open a link?
Yeah. Are you on a computer or a phone right now?
I'm on both.
Okay. I want you to open this up, and we'll just go to 15:30, and I just want to watch a little bit. I just want to watch together. I just want to see. I want you to give me your take on what's actually happening in this video.
Which link is it? There's 3 links here.
The last one I sent you. You can read the other first two in your own time, or not. You probably won't. It doesn't matter.
Okay. It says, okay. It's 40 minutes long.
Yep. Go to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. We just have to watch a minute or two. Let me know when you're there, and then we'll start it at the same time.
Okay, I'm watching it.
Oh, wait, what time are you at?
15:25.
Okay, wait, we can start at the same time, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so people are marching with flags.
Yep. Just curious, what do you think they're going here to protest?
The results they believe that was stolen from them.
Ah, so they're going here to protest the election. Okay.
Is protesting illegal?
I didn't say. Did I say that this was illegal? No, I said that this is overall as part of an insurrection. Why is this guy kicking?
No,
wait. Why is this guy kicking?
Said...
Stop! Don't divert. Hold on. Don't divert. Protesting in and of itself is obviously not illegal. I'm asking you what these people are going here to protest for. I'm just curious if you have an idea. Hold on. Wait. I paused. Go back to 15:56. Why is he breaking that window open when the cops are supposed to be opening it for them? At 15:53, you have an idea?
Well, like I said, I watched them break windows, and I watched other people telling them not to do this.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, at what time are you at right now?
15:54.
Okay. Well, we'll start again in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, there's the door. Oh, they broke that one too. That's crazy. Where are the cops here that are letting them into the building? Do you know where they're at this point?
Yeah. Where are they? Why is there not enough?
It's a good question.
Like if
That
his
doesn't matter though.
followers
That's not relevant. The question
they're-
right now is what's happening outside. How are they getting into the building? Before you told me if you want to change the claim to there weren't enough officers there, we can have that conversation. But you said earlier that you'd seen.
I'm not changing the claim. I clearly stated there was not enough officers, and
Cool,
clearly
I agree.
there wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, so we don't disagree there.
Okay. Why? But so then, did the people break into the Capitol building then, or were they let in?
In some of this footage, a few individuals are breaking a window and
we'll keep
pushing
watching
down a barricade.
Okay, we'll keep watching.
Yeah.
I'm at 16:53 now. Seems like they're trying to push some cops back. No, yeah, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we've got okay. So do the cops look like they're leading them in here? Do you have that impression
No,
as you're
here
watching
they
it?
don't.
Oh,
No,
okay,
they
gotcha.
They don't look like they're leading him here at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Like I can acknowledge when I haven't seen some footage before. I'm not like I said, I'm not ideologically possessed to excuse anything and everything. Like
The fact that you haven't seen this means that you are so ideologically brainwashed. You're like in another dimension. Yes,
I don't think so.
You absolutely are. I'm sorry. Do these cops here, the guy with the baton that's hitting the people, do you think that he's letting them in peacefully?
Oh, clearly not.
Okay. Just making sure.
Not.
Okay. The gates here that are being pushed over, was that by the order of the cops? Oh, you see the cops walking back now. Do you think that they're letting them in peacefully now? Now are the cops leading them in? Or do you think they're retreating from a position because there are 50,000 savages that are in front of them that have all been riled up from Donald Trump and marched like a mile away to come to the Capitol building to protest the election results? Or were they just letting them in? Do you have any idea?
Okay, so some of them were let in. Some of them approached without being held back by the law enforcement.
Okay, well, now we're coming to the building. Okay. Is this guy banging on the window, the one that broke it there? Are these guys being let in right now? That guy? Doesn't look like it. Hold on. Oh. Now, when that guy jumps in and the cop is spraying, what is that, silly putty, I guess? It must be at him or whatever because they're playing games here. Are there already people being led into the building at some other spot at this point? Or are the first people in the building the ones that broke in?
There's a few people that broke in, yes.
The first ones that got in broke in,
anyway,
correct?
So just to get back...
No, wait. First, I want to hear you say, the first people that got into here broke in, correct?
The first few people, it looks like some of them were pushing their way in.
And no. What do you call it when you push through a material and you break it? That's called a break-in. They broke in, right?
So I just have a quick question for you. Like you seem extremely angry about all of this.
Yes,
and
I am.
You're fighting with a lot of people on Twitter.
Yep.
You're insulting people on Twitter.
I am.
So do you think that any of what's been said by the people in the last 4 years, like I said, demonizing Trump, calling him, like literally Hitler, and celebrating, the people celebrating the attempt on his life, do you think that contributes to what was happening in 2020?
No. Maybe a little. Maybe 1%.
Why not?
Here's the issue you have is because your problem is you're saying too many people are demonizing Trump. Have you ever stopped to think, well, maybe he's acting like a demon? People are treating Trump like he's a dictator. Have you ever thought that maybe he's actually acting like a dictator? The fact that you're not familiar with anything that happened you don't know any of the evidence. You don't know the entire Jack Smith indictment. You didn't even know that the first people that got into the Capitol building broke in. Why would I care what you know? You clearly know nothing about any of this. Yet you seem to have a strong opinion about it.
I don't think that's correct. I think I know some things. I wasn't following, like I said, wasn't following it 24/7 without sleeping or reading full indictments, but it's
or reading any part of an indictment, right? Can you be honest about that? You haven't read a single sentence in any of the 4 indictments that Donald Trump is facing in the United States, right? or I guess it's only 3 now because one case is done. Hopefully it gets tossed. Thank God for the Supreme Court. But can you admit that you haven't read a single word of any of those indictments?
No, before that, can
No,
you
no, no.
please
I need to hear you.
explain?
I need to hear you say that first, so that we're on the same page, and then I'll answer whatever question you want. You haven't read a single
No, no, no.
sentence from
Like
any of
you
those
interrupted
indictments.
me when I was trying to talk to you about him being a dictator. You say he's a dictator. He's acting like a dictator.
Yeah.
Um, did he not relinquish his, his loss without?
After a failed insurrection. So no, he didn't relinquish it. He lost his insurrection attempt, and then he walked away
So
mad.
even though he said, "Be peaceful, we're not violent," and all those things, you still believe that you not believe, you assess for that to be part of him inciting an insurrection. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because I have a brain. And somebody saying in one sentence, walk peacefully, doesn't magically nullify the entire hour-long speech where he's telling people you have to fight like hell or you're going to lose your country, or that we have to pressure Congress to do the
Okay,
right
but
thing and count
okay, hold on a
the
sec.
legally
But
slated
fight
electors.
like
So hold on, no, I just want to be really clear, because in any other circumstance you would understand this, but obviously your brain is subject to the political cancer that has manifested there for at least the last 4 years, right? No, a single sentence in a
I
1
don't.
hour
You
speech
don't.
does not nullify the entirety of the speech. Because guess what? If I look at what happened right after the speech, do you think it's a coincidence that people went there marching, chanting
So
1776
you
on
think
the day
fight
that the
like
election was
hell
going to
is
be certified, and then they broke into the building and they delayed the certification of the election? Was all of that just a coincidence?
so you think the words "fight like hell" is problematic, but you don't see other words as problematic when they say,
Kat, I'm so
for
sorry.
example.
No, I don't evaluate this like a 4-year-old. I'm not looking at one sentence or one word, because I know what you want to say. Well, when they said fight like hell, what about when Nancy Pelosi says we need to fight? And what about what? No, it's not the same. What I'm saying is that taken as a whole, Donald Trump called people here on January 6th to do this speech while they were certifying the vote. He riled them up. He tried to rig the election, and then he sent them to the Capitol building to protest, where they broke in, where they delayed the certification of the election, which was his
I don't
goal,
think
and then
him
he
giving
made
an
calls.
impassioned speech for his country is them
Oh,
riling his base up.
what were they going there to
I don't
protest?
believe
What were
that
they
you
going
can
there to
make that
protest?
correlation. Pardon?
What were they going there to protest?
They were going to protest because they thought the election was stolen from them
Oh,
unlawfully.
that's an insurrection.
No, it isn't.
What do you think it means if you go to protest because you think an
How is this
election was
protest?
stolen?
Well, Hillary thought it was stolen as well.
Hillary
She said he's
gave
an
up that
illegitimate
night.
president.
Hillary gave up that night. How many court cases did Hillary launch to challenge the election results? Can you tell me? How many court
Well,
cases was it?
how many powerful people wanted her, wanted her kept out of power?
How many
Did she
court
have
cases did Hillary Clinton
how
Hillary
many?
Clinton
No,
launch
no,
to
no.
challenge the election
How
results?
like did she have an entire barrage of media and elected officials demonizing her and doing the same thing that they're doing to Trump, trying to prevent her from being elected? Did that happen to Hillary?
How many court cases did Hillary Clinton launch challenging the results of the election?
But did she have such a forceful barrage of, like I said, media, elected officials, and including their base, just vehemently opposing, calling her Hitler, calling her the devil, saying all these things?
Yes, the Republicans had
Was
been
she
doing it for
facing that?
years. Yes. What do you think the email scandal was about? What do you think the Benghazi hearings were about? By the way,
So,
hearings that Hillary Clinton sat through, gave testimony for like 12 hours, and an investigation that she fully cooperated with. Not like the insurrectionist, traitorous president that you support, who
she did
invoked
not.
executive privilege at every single opportunity, who pled the fifth at every single opportunity, and who has now been granted absolute criminal immunity for some of his actions, so that he never has to answer for any of the things
So,
that he's done.
so,
So to
so
go
she
back one
didn't
more time,
delete
I answered your question. To go back one more time, how many lawsuits did Hillary Clinton file challenging the result of the election?
I don't know. Did she file any?
Not a single one.
Okay. So they
When did Hillary?
said
Wait.
that.
When did Hillary concede the election? It was within 1 day. Do you agree with that?
I wasn't following closely then, so I don't know. I
It
just know that
was.
she
It,
called.
it was
I
within
know
a
she
day.
called him an illegitimate
That's
president,
great. I know.
and
Yeah, I know you
that
got
would
those good
probably
talking
stir.
points in. I like how that, by the way, I like how that one sentence, that's enough for you there. But one sentence from Trump saying, fight like hell, and then afterwards is people going, fight like hell. That doesn't mean anything to you.
Um,
That's very funny to me.
fight like hell doesn't necessarily mean go and uh, try to assassinate a VP or break windows or anything like that. when
Then
you
why is
say
it, wait, let's say I agree with what you just said. Okay, sure. Why is it then that when that started to happen and when staffer after staffer went in begging Trump, hey, can you call off your sycophantic savage fuck fans? Can you please do that? Donald Trump sat there drinking a Diet Coke while Ashley Babbitt got shot in the fucking face in the basement of the Capitol building dying. Can you tell me why Donald Trump didn't stop them if they weren't doing exactly what he wanted to do? Why did Donald Trump and his crooked fuck lawyer, Giuliani, make phone calls to lawmakers inside of Congress telling them, hey, maybe you should delay the vote. Maybe you should push it back a few days. Why did he do that if that wasn't exactly what he wanted his protesters to do?
how do you know
I'm going to re-ask the same, just so you know, the conversation is over right here until you answer that question or give me an alternative thing. I'm not answering another fucking question. I'm not playing this game. You have to tell me what was the point because it seems incredibly obvious. Donald Trump gave a speech. They went to the Capitol. They broke in. They delayed the certification of the vote, which is what Donald Trump apparently wanted them to do. And for hours, while they protested, breaking windows, breaking doors, breaking on inside, he sat and he watched. And the only phone calls that he made while people were begging him to tweet to stop the violence were to try to pressure lawmakers to delay the vote. Tell me why he did that. Why did he wait for hours? Give me one possible explanation that doesn't satisfy my story.
I'm not in his mind. I'm not a mind reader. I can't ascribe motivation to his thoughts that I don't have access to, Destiny.
Oh, that's great. What is your profession? What do you do professionally?
That's not relevant.
Okay, why do you think, do you think that we can't ascertain the state of mind of a person ever? Do you think that's just impossible? You said that I was angry. How do you know that? Maybe this is how I always talk when I'm streaming. Why did you assume that I was angry?
I've watched you stream. Like you speak fast, and you obviously come prepared. You have your talking points. So like you.
Hold on, wait. To be clear, none of these are talking points.
Speak.
If you want, we can spend. I'm streaming until I got 4 hours. So if you want, we can dig as deep, or I can even just link you because I've got whole documents that I've written on this whole scheme and this whole plot. I've read every single indictment from top to bottom. I've read every single criminal statute involved in the indictment from top to bottom, and I've read basically every fucking news article written about these indictments from top to bottom. So no, I don't have just talking points. That's what you have when you say Hillary Clinton said that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president, and also I have no idea what happened on January 6th or in the entire lead up to the insurrection for what Donald Trump did. Okay, so no, I don't have talking points.
It's an unfair statement. It's an unfair statement to say I have no idea what's going on.
You didn't know anything about the whole scam. Do you know anything about Mike Eastman and the coup memo or what their plot was on January 6th? What do you think Donald Trump was talking about when he said Mike Pence needs to come?
Really obscure. That seems obscure to me.
Oh, well, that's crazy because it was literally part of 2 of the massive indictments that Donald Trump is facing that he's probably going to get away from now because of the criminal immunity that's been granted. Do you think that the Jack Smith indictment is obscure? Do you think that the Georgia RICO case is obscure? Is it obscure unless it shows up in like a Twitter headline or a TikTok video for you?
I don't use TikTok.
Okay, where the fuck do you get your news from that the most important stuff that's happened in this country related to this election and the current ongoing criminal cases are obscure trivia to you? You know that like the federal government hosts these indictments for everybody to read, right? They're not like hidden.
I would say that's obscure to a lot of people that aren't terminally online. Like
terminally online? I'm sorry, hold on. You think that knowing what's in a federal indictment for a prior sitting president makes you terminally online?
No,
Okay, hold on, wait. Can you admit that what you just said was beyond fucking stupid, right? Tell me, it is actually reasonable that maybe I'll let you slide because you're a fucking Canadian retard, okay? But for an American citizen that's voting, maybe, well, you're Canadian and you are retarded. I'm just calling it as I say it, okay? Can you? It is reasonable that an American. I don't care. I'm so over it. Kat, I don't care. I don't care that you're trying to insult me or not. What you're doing is so much worse. You don't see how evil you are, okay? It is so much worse than calling me names. If you were more informed, and then you were calling me names, I'd be fine with it. That's okay. I don't give a fuck. I'm done with the civility bullshit where as long as you're speaking politely, you think that gives you carte blanche to act like the scum of the fucking earth, okay? Can you tell me it is not unreasonable for an American citizen to be familiar with what is in a criminal indictment for a past president? That's not a terminally online thing to know. Can you admit that?
I have to disagree. I think most people don't sit there reading through indictments.
Okay, who do you think should? Maybe the people that are spoon-feeding you the news that you consume, maybe at least they should have to read it? Do you think?
What do you mean people spoon-feeding me news? People can consume news however they practice.
Sure, but I mean, it's obvious for your news consumption, you look at a media feed that feeds you headlines, and then you read that, and that's where your opinion is formed from. So the people that are feeding you those headlines, don't you think at least they should have read the indictments?
No. Just one second. I don't need news headlines. I can assess information for myself when I see it.
What is the last piece of original, not digested information that you've read?
Condescending about
no,
it.
You deserve to be condescended to. My country is having a fucking ex-insurrectionist, okay, try to run for president, and you support him. So no, I think it's okay for me to be highly critical of how you get your news, and you don't know anything about it, but you have a strong opinion about it. I don't understand where you people fucking come from. I don't know why you would be so confident that you think it would, like, what do you think I do all fucking day that you're confident enough to come in here knowing absolutely fucking nothing about anything that's happening? They're like, okay, well, I'll go and have a reasonable conversation with this person.
Okay, so I don't think you're having a reasonable conversation with me. I think you're being extremely rude. I've been respectful to you. I've indulged in clicking on a link that you've asked me to look at. I've agreed with some of your points. I disagree on your assessment. I just don't, like, I see you, become extremely dysregulated, and you don't even know me, and you're telling me that, you're telling me all these things about me, that I'm this and I'm that. Like, I don't think is a productive conversation. You're
beyond having a productive conversation. Also, you're not the first. You won't be the last woman to use a psychological term on me. Don't worry. I'm immune to it at this point.
What psychological term?
Dysregulated. The fact that you have no concept, of any of the stuff that's even in the criminal indictments. Do you understand how absolutely fucking infuriating that is? That people don't even know what our president or our ex-president was charged with. They don't even know.
Well,
you don't think that's insane?
Like I told you, there's people who follow this case 24/7.
Hold on, excuse me. No, hold on. You don't get to characterize my position as follow the case 24/7.
You got to characterize mine.
What was I incorrect about?
Well, you were using ad hominem attacks to, discredit my viewpoints. And
I was not using. I discredited your viewpoints by saying how stupid they were, and then I pointed to the fact they probably happened because of your news conception. I'm sorry. Wait. What point of yours do you think that I didn't discredit on a substantive basis? Just because I'm calling you names doesn't mean I'm engaged in ad hominem. I can both call you names and substantively disagree with the things that you say. Can you give me one thing you said that you feel like I haven't substantively?
Ad hominem is calling someone names and calling them stupid.
No, I'm sorry, ma'am, but an ad hominem is when you dismiss a person's argument by appealing to a personal attack. If I say, you're wrong because of XYZ dipshit, that's not an ad hominem. That's just me calling you a name after substantively disagreeing with you. So if there's a point that you feel like you made that I didn't address, feel free to tell me and I will address it.
Okay. As I said, I don't think there's such a need for insulting me. I don't think that's called for, but maybe we can agree to disagree on that. Ad hominems don't help in my opinion, but yeah, I wasn't prepared for you being like as angry as you are. Do
you understand that from my perspective, we are looking at a decent chance of the next president being a guy who, at least from my point of view, launched an insurrection against the government? That's where we're at right now. And everybody around the world is so interested in defending this traitorous scum fuck, okay? And then when I press them on it, okay, whether it's you, whether it's the Constantine guy who throws his Ukrainian family under the bus to suck off fucking Putin, whether it's Tim Pool whose beanie is wrapped so fucking tightly around his fucking head that he can't process more than 1 or 2 sentences, okay, without saying something, right? That all of these people, hold on, all of these people, he's subhuman scum, okay? That all of these people are interested in defending this guy, and nobody knows the substance of any of what he's even charged with. Do you understand? Do you understand how frustrating that is as an American who has a vested interest in seeing his country at least not turn into an authoritarian dictatorship?
I think it's far-fetched to say that if Trump is reelected through the Electoral College, like you said, would be what was the word that you just used? Like,
authoritarian dictatorship. Why do you think it's far-fetched?
Well, because, like I said, I don't believe he acts like a dictator.
You don't? Okay, how not? Do you think that, for instance, do you think a dictator would try to prevent the peaceful transfer of power?
I don't think he was trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. He called for peace. He called for law and order. He said, we are for law and order. So
every single violent protester, that was just random that they all went and violently protested the certification of the electoral vote.
Well, okay.
Oh, she's about to do the BLM thing. She's going to go, what about BLM? Yeah, go ahead, do it. Do your whataboutism. I'm just going to ignore it, so go ahead.
No, you're not getting ignored. Although BLM did mostly peacefully protest with fires in the streets.
Hold on. Do you agree that BLM was mostly peaceful?
No.
You're actual subhuman trash. You think that the majority of the BLM protests were violent?
I saw a lot of America burn under BLM protests.
Fuck you. What do you care or know about America? You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You think the majority, there were like millions and millions of people protesting for like a year. You think the majority of those were violent? You're actually deranged if you think that. I don't even know.
No,
I'm sorry.
I didn't say majority. I said I saw BLM protests that were violent.
I didn't ask what you saw on YouTube. I didn't say. I'm asking if you thought the majority of them were violent.
And anchors from outlets that were reporting on the ground, such as CNN, I believe it was.
Yeah, I know. I saw the same one. Yeah, I saw the same meme image. Don't worry, I've tweeted out before. It was real funny. Yep, I've seen it.
Fiery but mostly peaceful. Do you disagree that do you agree that you can call a protest that involves burning down police stations and streets and storefronts, and where people have to put up signs saying we're a black-owned business, please don't burn us down, we support Democrats, don't smash our windows? Do you think you can call that mostly peaceful?
You know what, Kat? Whatever I would call that, I would never utter it in front of you, because you don't even deserve to get that concession. You don't even deserve to have me accurately assess that.
Okay,
when you won't even, when you won't even for a microsecond. Why the fuck, if you're on the left, should you admit to or concede to any of these things when you delusional, unhinged, cowardly, spineless fucks won't even admit to what happened on January 6th? It's like the most open fucking case in the world. The thing that when Donald Trump tries to defend himself, he says, I need criminal immunity to not be in trouble here, right? So no, I'm not even going to concede to a fucking BLM thing, okay? God bless the fucking protesters, okay? They can go fight with the white nationalists in the streets, and they can all go fucking, have fun with each other at this point.
Destiny. Okay, thank you for that tirade. Do you see anyone that, you say I'm not worthy of a response to the BLM protest. Why don't you do you see anyone in the room that's, quote, worthy of discussing that point with you? Maybe you can.
I didn't come here to discuss the BLM protests. So no, I'm not here to discuss that.
Okay, well,
I'm here to discuss the stuff related to Donald Trump and the insurrection. That's what I came here to discuss. If anybody here wants to jump on that, then sure, yeah, we can talk about it. If someone wants to talk about BLM protests at some other point, we can. But I would probably agree with most of them. But the difference is the left is generally willing to critique their side. The right is beyond critique. You guys are incapable, you're unfathomable when it comes to critiquing your own side. It is absolutely true.
No, I have seen people criticize.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No, you haven't. Please stop.
Yes,
please shut the fuck up. You absolutely have not. One tweet where somebody's like, oh, well, I didn't agree when Donald Trump had, a blue tie on instead of his normal red power tie. It's not a true critique. Okay, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Okay, you don't have to swear at me.
Then don't act like a fucking moron. Don't act like an idiot. No, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the right criticizes itself, okay?
I'm not acting like an idiot, Destiny. You don't
okay, then you are an idiot or whatever. And it's coming out naturally. However you want to phrase it. My bad.
Okay, so forget about the BLM. You don't want to talk about that. Fine.
Hold on. I didn't say I didn't want. I said I didn't come here to talk about it. If somebody wants to do BLM debate at some point or whatever, we can do it. But I didn't come here to talk about BLM.
I take it back. You said you didn't come here to talk about BLM. Acknowledge that. Fine, no problem. If you let me finish, can you discuss these points with someone who you think is worthy, who maybe has
for the insurrection stuff? You can voice as many fucking people as you want in here. 100%, sure, go for it.
Okay, so we have some speakers in the room. They're willing to chat. So, whoever, if you want to put your hand up, there's Lauren, there's Clint. He came up first, so.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for Stephen, because his screenshots, I'm blocked, so his screenshots of his tweets yesterday have been going viral, and I'm just genuinely curious if he is at all concerned with the trajectory of political violence escalating. His reaction, his immediate reaction, well, I'd imagine that much of it was in jest. It's obviously very inflammatory. I'm personally concerned about the climate in this country. I think that we're inching ever more closely to a potential, civil war or something crazy like that. Is that a concern? I mean, you talk about insurrection, you talk about the dangerous precedent of Donald Trump and where this is all headed. Are you open to political violence at this point? Because it seemed like it, and that doesn't strike me to be your character. So I wanted to clarify.
I am very concerned about political violence in this country and the road to political violence, and you conservatives have been screeching for it nonstop. So I'm not going to be the cuck on the left, to your guys' terms. I'm not going to be the cuckold on the left who is crying and screaming for pump the brakes, guys, no violence, it's civility time, blah, blah, blah. While you guys on the right engage in the most absurd forms of reality denialism. While you guys say that January 6th was a peaceful protest. When you guys say, oh, the Whitmer thing, that was all the FBI. The pipe bomb stuff, oh, that was all fake. You guys won't take responsibility for fucking anything. And you're supporting literally the most divisive fucking president in all of recent history. And you guys are saying, well, it's just fucking epic and hilarious when he owns the libs. And when you've got Biden, who is when it comes to rhetoric, the most milquetoast fucking guy in the world. I don't even know if this guy has a fucking mean bone in his body. And the only picture I see of him posted over and over and over again is him with a close-up shot where there's red, white, and blue lights in the background and it's just the red and you pretend that he's a dictator. Fuck you. I'm not going to be the one calling for oh guys, we've got to be civil, no fucking violence. No, that's fucking retarded. You guys can lead the way on that one because you sure as fuck have led the way on getting us to where we are now.
Well, Stephen, you debated me last year in Tennessee. I ran for vice president of the Libertarian Party. I'm not a conservative at all. So, while your tirade may land with a different audience, it's not going to work on me.
Really? Hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. Who are you supporting this election?
Who am I supporting? I haven't declared any support.
Really? What are you leaning to? If I were to go through your Twitter, how many critiques have you made of Donald Trump versus how many critiques have you made of Biden? What do you think if I were to guess?
Well, seeing as Biden's the president, it would probably be a lot more critiques towards the sitting president.
Oh, yeah, but not the one that's coming in that's running for president that was also a president for 4 years?
I've been very critical of Donald Trump. So.
I'm sure. Yeah, okay.
The name of my show is Liberty Lockdown. I'm very, very disappointed in the 2020 era. So odds of me supporting Trump openly or otherwise are pretty slim. But setting that aside, I'm glad to hear that you are concerned about political violence in this country. I just, at the same time, I don't understand your rhetoric yesterday or your response to the violence, basically applauding the loss of a voter for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. It strikes me as callous, to put it mildly.
Not as hard as it struck that guy. Just curious. So I'm just looking through your Twitter, okay? You said it is a tremendously fraudulent case brought against the leading candidate to be the next president. Which of the 4 cases against Donald Trump do you think are fraudulent and why?
Well, first off, I would say that the FBI document case in Mar-a-Lago, given that Biden is guilty of the same crime, if it is one, I think that one's fraudulent.
Okay, just curious on that case. What is the crime?
It was, I think it was holding confidential documents after he left the White House, right?
You understand there's an intentionality aspect to that, right? You have to intentionally take and then knowingly hold classified information out of a SCIF. It's not just accidentally taking it, right? You understand that a lot of what Donald Trump is charged for in the Mar-a-Lago stuff is obstruction of justice because he told his employee to hide documents from NARA and then the FBI, right? Or did you not know that because you haven't read that indictment, but you have a strong enough opinion about it to tweet about it?
I mean, that was a lot of assertion without actually allowing for me to answer. Yeah, I realize that there's intentionality. Do you think that there was no intentionality with Biden having hundreds of documents at his house?
I'm just saying that the 2 cases aren't comparable. The huge aspect of what Trump is being charged with is the obstruction charge, because he told his employee to hide documents.
Do you think it's at all odd that there would be this level of investigation into Trump but not into Biden?
I do think that the Trump stuff was really odd. I think the FBI should have kicked his door down a year earlier. I don't know why the fuck they waited so long. They gave him a year to turn those documents over to NARA, and he shunned them, he ignored them, he lied to them, and he had his employee move boxes around, okay, like a fucking ferret running through a maze before the FBI finally caught wind that there was some bullshit going on. Do you think that NARA didn't give him enough time to respond? Why do you think he didn't turn the documents over when they asked?
Okay, same question for you. Why do you have zero concern about Biden possessing classified documents, but you're totally up in arms over Trump? I don't understand.
I'm going to keep asking until you answer the question. Why do you think Donald Trump waited a full year to turn those documents over to NARA?
I don't know.
Why do you think he told his employee to hide them?
I haven't seen that's been proven that he told his employee to hide them. What's the evidence for that?
It's literally laid out in the indictments from recorded conversations. Or do you think the FBI is just making it all up?
Well,
It is possible.
The FBI did lie to the FISA court to spy on his campaign before he entered the White House. So yeah,
So you
I
think
don't
they made
trust the
everything up
FBI.
in the indictment? Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
I don't
then
think
I
they
don't.
made up everything.
Okay, wait,
I
wait.
don't think they made up everything.
Well, then what do you think about? Why do you think?
Why should I trust the FBI?
Okay, then don't. Then I don't know why the fuck I'm talking to you. If you don't trust any of the institutions or any of the investigative bodies, why did you say anything about the indictment? You should have opened with that. You should have said, no, Destiny, I only trust what I read on Twitter. I don't trust anything from any of our three letters. I don't trust those guys. Just open with that next time, and then we don't have to waste any time, on some
I already
factual
told you I'm a
analysis.
libertarian, so you could have assumed that.
True, that
yeah.
you're retarded because it's basically one and part and parcel the same. Okay.
You don't need to insult people. I don't understand why you need to do that. Okay, let's take a question. Sharika Soul has her hand up. Sharika, you can unmute yourself.
Destiny, I just have to say that you are an adult male, and the way that you're talking to some of the women in here, well, Kat specifically, is actually really disheartening to listen to. Also, I am Black, and I'm kind of tired of white liberals denying the violence in the Black community and using Black Lives Matter, and specifically protests, who, by the way, the Black neighborhoods that have the protest, they end up being destroyed and trashed. And it's not you that comes to the neighborhoods and helps clean up those neighborhoods after a protest. So for you to speak on Black Lives Matter protest and say they're not violent or whatever you were trying to say is disrespectful, it's disingenuous, especially to Black women who have to live in those neighborhoods and the Black children.
Thank you as a Black woman for showing up to show that retardation can transcend both gender and race.
I'm not retarded. You're the white man.
I don't know why the fuck. What do you think I'm speaking on for BLM? This conversation is about BLM. I don't know why don't even know who the fuck you're talking to right now.
Stop cussing.
I can cuss whatever I want. What do you mean I can say whatever the fuck I want? It's freedom of speech.
Because it's
Twitter.
disrespectful.
Disrespectful to what? This isn't your fucking Twitter space. You're not here to tell me what I can say or not say.
Black Lives Matter out of your mouth. You're a white
BLM,
man.
BLM.
We don't need you.
BLM, Black people need me. I'm going to be the white savior for BLM. I love BLM. I'm the leader of BLM. I'm the self-appointed leader of BLM.
Oh, yes, I love BLM. Oh, yes, Black Panthers. I'm going to join it right now. Oh, BLM.
Keep it real.
I am keeping it real.
Black men are violent towards Black women, and we don't need people like you constantly using us for political talking points. Mind your own business and quit talking about a race that you don't know nothing about. We don't know you. You're not in our neighborhood.
BLM. Are you lost? Are you lost right now? How did you even wander into here? Are you okay right now?
Mental distress, and you need to get on medication and stop talking to women crazy.
Okay.
You only talk like that because you're behind a screen. If you were there and she had a whole bunch of men standing by her, there's no way you would keep talking to her like that. You're a punk.
Okay.
Grow up.
Thank you, Sharika. Thank you so much for your valuable contribution. Okay. Noted.
Okay. Let's try to keep it civil, guys. Let's just try to speak with each other with not talking over each other. It's hard to hear when, she's trying to speak and you're just going BLM, and we can't understand you guys. It's hard to hear. I'm sure you know this. Like, I shouldn't have to explain that, but one at a time would probably be best. And maybe if you didn't come to speak about BLM, you don't have to speak about it if you don't want to, Destiny. That's fine.
Well, as the self-appointed leader of the BLM chapter in my city, I felt it necessary to say I am the self-appointed leader of the BLM chapter in Miami.
Self-appointed?
So, yes.
Do you think does BLM stand for large mansions? Buy large mansions? Do you know about that?
Yep, I got the largest one, and I only invite my white friends to hang out in it.
Can't you at least just laugh it off without being so angry? Like this.
I'm not angry. I'm being very serious right now.
Will impact you, in any meaningful ways. Can we at least bond over a mutual disdain for Pearl Davis? Like, come on.
Maybe.
Just lighthearted. Maybe that's okay. That's progress. I'll take that. I like that. Okay. Does anyone else want to jump in to say anything or to ask a question? Hey, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'll make a comment. Oh boy. Listening to this, I will say I think there is a serious problem on the right now. Not just the right, politics in general, with people not actually reading the documents, people getting their information from memes. I actually do think it's a little atrocious that from my side of the political spectrum and what I read on my timeline, I don't hear more about the Trump indictments and the actual documents going forward.
Fair point.
I think that's going to be something I'm going to be doing going forward, is actually reading those indictments, because I think it's important for when debates like this happen. And Kat, we can read them together. We'll go over it together. Do a little
Sounds
study
good.
session.
I'm in.
But I will also say this disregard of actual research that is pervasive in the political sphere is the same reason I got canceled and called a genocide denier for stating that no bodies existed in the alleged Indigenous mass graves in Canada. I'm sure a lot of people remember that story. None were ever found, but that lie still persists. And, you know, churches burned to the ground and the country put into havoc millions and millions of dollars of our tax money spent on this cause. And all because a bunch of people decided to believe memes over doing actual research. And I get being upset about it. Believe me, I was upset about it. I had death threats in my inbox, threats towards my family, my children, and this is genuinely destroying our countries and democracy, this low information kind of engagement with politics. But I'm also aware that the people who haven't done enough research, haven't done enough reading on these subjects aren't necessarily evil and shouldn't be discounted entirely, even if they're the ones that are sending me threats. I apologize. I'm in an airport right now. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah. So, you know, in some cases, these people are my family, my lifelong friends that I've had that completely disagree with me on these topics, that I think are sometimes ill-informed on these subjects. And I think that they're deserving of respect to some degree, to some level. Just because my country has been defrauded by our government into believing mass graves and genocide exists that didn't happen, and I've received threats, you know, that doesn't mean I have to treat every leftist cruelly, nor laugh or mock or celebrate if they are killed, especially when they're innocent and we're just showing up to a rally. And I think there's a much better approach than the one that Stephen has been taking, particularly when
I think the fact that this guy was tweeting out Putin worship makes it the most fucking hilarious misfire that could have possibly happened.
He deserved to get shot.
I didn't say he deserved to get shot. I'm just saying he doesn't deserve any sympathy for it, okay? And it might warrant a laugh or two.
I think you'll find that people care a lot more what you have to say when you acknowledge that there might be human, that they have some integrity that you can kind of show a little bit of respect. I mean, you've got family members that would agree with this guy. I don't think you laugh at them being shot.
My mom and dad taught me fuck around and find out as a first principle of how to navigate the world. So if they ended up going to a fucking rally like this, cheering for a fucking insurrectionist dude or whatever, yeah, they deserve it 50 times over. They served in the Air Force. They know better. They took an oath to the Constitution to serve this country, not to serve a fucking king. Why the fuck? I don't know why you guys asked me this question. What if it happened here? What if it happened to your parents? Yeah, if they went to a crazy fuck rally like this and something happened to them, it would be sad. I'd probably personally sad, but what the fuck do you want me to say? What do you expect to happen?
Wait, you think
attending a political rally is a fucking fuck around and find out scenario?
I think that supporting a prior president that engaged in insurrection. Yeah, I'm tired of pretending like that's just a normal, ordinary thing that you're supposed to accept as an American citizen. That's unhinged. That is fucking insane to me.
I have a question. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you honestly think that people, despite yes, I have seen the tweets mentioning the word king. Do you think people want him as king for real?
Yes.
You don't think that you do?
Yep.
What causes you to make that conclusion? Except
show me a single conservative commentator that had anything critical to say about the criminal immunity case. Show me one that even fucking read half of it, actually. But show me one. Find me one, and maybe I'll believe you. Maybe.
No. Just one sec. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about your belief that his supporters, the Trump supporters, would literally make him king if they could.
Yes. They literally call him Emperor Trump. Yeah, it's all a joke. It's just a meme, LOL.
The people that believe they're fighting for freedom and to preserve the constitutional republic that is the United States, no one gives a fuck. Hold on, can I just finish? I know you're really skilled. You're really good at it.
No, it's just that you just don't know anything about like Donald Trump literally has tweets on Truth Social saying he wants to suspend the Constitution, and you're asking me, you don't think the people that are supporting him in the Constitutional Republic they want a king?
Okay, I'll just restart. So once again, the people that champion when, for example, on issues that are not related to the subject, they say, give it back to the states because the states should have the power to say they voted for example, on abortion. Like they say they give it to the states. Is that not them upholding, the constitutional republic and the process?
No, it's because they like the idea of. Let me answer the question without it being a rambling 50 question, okay? And then you ask me the next question you want, okay? No, when they say throw it back, find me a single conservative who is excited about throwing abortion back to the states as they are about supporting the right for sanctuary cities to exist, and then I'll believe you. No, conservatives don't give a fuck about states' rights. Absolutely not. They only support it in this case because they know that it'll mean less abortion than that it'll mean less abortion rights than there were before. That's the only reason they support it.
Stephen, real quick, man, you said that basically because Donald Trump is an insurrectionist, attending his rally is supporting, a fascist dictator or whatever, and ultimately it's a fuck around and find out scenario. You'd have to then extrapolate that logic to believe that the 70 plus million people that voted for him are also guilty of supporting them and therefore a fair game and in a fuck around and find out scenario. So am I misreading here? Are you saying that all of these people are open to assassination attempts?
I wouldn't say open to assassination. I'm just saying that if it happens, there should be zero fucking sympathy for anybody involved.
So you believe that
hold on, just to be clear,
half of the country deserves no sympathy. Really?
Yes. When half of the country is supporting an insurrectionist, yes. Democracy only works, and if you're a I don't even know actually, I don't know what you are. If democracy only works when the people are working to actually protect it. And when half the people in the country are supporting somebody that is undemocratic, then no, I'm not going to sit here and shed tears for people that end up being the victims of their own insane fucking ideology. No, this is fucking stupid. Why would I waste my time? There are way better things to cry over, like how fucking horrible Game of Thrones turned out. I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep over dipshits that are getting offed as they engage in insurrectionist supporting rhetoric. That's fucking crazy.
Just on a personal note, man, I really feel like you've lost your humanity.
I know, and that's great.
Honestly.
And I wish that, and maybe one day, I don't know, maybe if you guys grow up a little bit, maybe you'll know this. Saying the most disgusting, horrible shit that you can in a polite tone of voice is one of the most horrible things that you can do as a human being. And the idea that just because you calmly and politely suggest that a guy that tried to overthrow the republic ought to be president, and that's a respectable opinion because you say it with a low voice, is beyond redemption to me. It's disgusting.
Okay, so you think we're disgusting? You think we're a basket of deplorables? Okay, I have a question that's sort of related. I see that a person named Chase Geyser challenged you to a lawful duel under the Texas Penal Code, 22.06. I'm not sure what that means, but then it looks like you blocked him after that. Did you not want to discuss that particular subject with him because you think he's
why would I
also
accept a
beyond-
lawful duel with somebody?
Because because he seems like he would maybe be more equipped to talk about the things that you've read yourself. Maybe
if he wants to talk about
well.
something, then sure, we can talk. Why the fuck? I'm not going to accept a fucking duel. That sounds fucking retarded.
I think that was just his way of saying, can we chat about it? Like maybe I said it politely and in my soft, disgusting tone that you don't like, but he was.
If he wants to chat, yeah, sure, drag him
debate.
in. I don't know why we would assume that means debate. I don't know why when Donald Trump says we need to fight like hell to take our country back, you would say, well, that doesn't really mean anything. But when another guy says penal code 112, whatever the fuck, challenge you to a fucking duel, I don't know. If you want to drag him in and he wants to chat, we can. But no, it seems like you're just spamming. You just shit post people that they want to duel.
I don't think I can bring him in.
What's the guy's name on Twitter or whatever?
Hold on one sec. I'll let you know. Chase.
Oh, yeah, I saw the
Geyser?
InfoWars, too, so I know that he's an actual fucking retard as well.
Is everyone a retard? Because
people that are on InfoWars are all retards, yes. If that guy would have been in the audience, the bullet would have went one in hole and out the other, and there would have been no damage done. That's how fucking stupid anybody that works at InfoWars is, yes.
Okay. I disagree with that assessment, but
I'm sure you do.
We can. Okay. So you didn't want to talk to him because...
No, if he wants to chat, sure, go for it.
He's from InfoWars.
I unblocked him if he wants to chat. I just said he's stupid. I talk to stupid people for a living. That's how I make my living, yeah.
I have a quick question.
Well, you got to give you props for doing the living with what you're doing. You're pretty successful. So hats off to you for being successful at what you do, I guess. Sorry, did I hear someone chiming in?
Yeah, I just decided to shut up, holding my hand up too long for a high five.
Go for it, Lauren.
Yeah, Stephen, you tweeted out earlier a Sam tweet in which he said that every day you've got Republicans calling for concentration camps and something along those lines, and you liked it both and shared it. Can you name a single Republican with an ounce of political power or any sort of sway that has called daily for concentration camps?
I'm pretty sure Hassan's tweet there, if I had to guess, it was in reference to the border policies that Donald Trump has where we were separating people at the border and then keeping them locked up in facilities that were understaffed. Pretty sure that's what that reference is to.
Do you think that those are concentration camps?
Definitionally, they might have been. I'm not sure. Probably. I don't know. I wouldn't call them that, but...
Do you think, you just liked and shared a tweet referring to them as concentration camps. Do you think they are concentration camps or not?
I don't think that I'm going to account for the exactness of a particular insult that's used against a side that doesn't even acknowledge what happened on January 6th. So if there was a person that wanted to critique the particular way that a word or term or definition is used, it sure as fuck wouldn't be somebody on the right. Absolutely fucking not.
Well, I thought your whole qualms with all of this is that the right-wingers aren't actually reading the documents. They don't understand.
No, my qualms with
the
right-wingers is they are anti-American. They don't support the Constitution. They don't support the country that they're a part of, and that they engage in patterns of conceptual and precise pieces of misinformation in order to spread the lies and the mischief and whatever the fuck else they do online. It's not over whether or not they use a particular term right or wrong in a thing. It's the fact that they'll come on and they'll talk about criminal indictments and insurrections without being familiar with any of the underlying material. That's my issue.
Well, luckily I'm a Canadian, and you've got a Canadian asking you.
Don't worry, there's a lot of them in here.
Concentration camps, and it sounds like you're just going to be out here tweeting inflammatory rhetoric with.
Right now, yeah, I basically am. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that you don't even believe in. You don't think they're concentration camps.
I think it was funny. It was funny enough to. It was funny enough to.
It's your side.
Well, that's the rules of discourse that the right has said. So yeah, why not have a little bit of fun? They can't have all the fun in this country, right?
I think that's why a lot of people usually respect you, is because you don't usually accept those rules of discourse, whether it be right or left. I mean.
Well, unfortunately, when you're a grown-up and you live in the whole world, you kind of have to accept. Listen, I've seen enough of your tweets to know you have to accept. If somebody were to go up to you and say, "Lauren, why do you have so many problems with housing or immigration in Canada or whatever?" And then you're like, "Well, I've got issues because of X, Y, and Z." I go, well, hold on, that's just their opinions. Like, you don't have to play by their rules. You don't have to worry about the changes that they impart on your country. You can just do your own thing. No, that's not how it works here. Okay, this is like the rules of discourse and the rules of media reporting, and the rules of accountability that the right has set. So I'm not going to have the right hold me to some different standard that they themselves don't even begin to approach.
Be just as moronic as the people you think you're criticizing.
I don't think I'm just as. It's not about being moronic. It's about being anti-American. It's about being opposed to democratic rule of law. Yeah. But that's funny. I mean, you can pretend it's the same. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's good. Yep, it is. It's the exact same. It's the exact calling separation of families at the border a concentration camp. That's the exact same thing as saying January 6th. What was that? Didn't you say mostly peaceful?
You know, I think it's wild. I think it's wild that America has concentration camps. In fact, I'd say not trying to get this president out of office, that would be anti-democratic. It's your duty to get this president out of office if he is running concentration camps at the border, right?
I mean, that's what Republicans are saying worse than that now, so I don't know why you think you're making a point.
We have Rob with his hand up. Rob, I've invited you as Speaker Rob Noor. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
That is correct. Thank you so much. Edgelord Destiny, great to be here. Know that you really don't like people that are read up, so happy to beat you around on these subjects like always. To start with, I find most repugnant about what you're doing, not that you're an edgelord making jokes, but that you're a disingenuous sack of shit. Because, as I've debated you in the past, you started talking before January 6th ever occurred about how the BLM riots were justified. It was just the other side of the coin of voting. Of course, once you realized that grift wouldn't do as well for you when you were debating the Rittenhouse shit, you completely 180'd your position.
Hold on, just to be clear, wait. I don't think I've ever supported violent riots against private property. I don't know if I've ever supported that in the U.S. The farthest my position ever went was if people wanted to violently riot against public property, that maybe that's defensible. I'm pretty sure that's the farthest I've ever gone, even prior to Rittenhouse. I don't know where that opinion comes from. I've always supported protests and even riots to some extent, as long as it's not against private property, but...
That is exactly true. What you said to me was, even though you weren't sure how much of the violence was against private property versus public, but to the extent that the George Floyd riots were against public property, you said that that's fine. If you feel the system's not working for you, we're America, goddammit, and rioting's the other side of the coin to voting. Now, when that occurs on January 6th,
did I ever say rioting is the other side of the coin to voting? That's a really strange statement if I did. If I did, that's a really strange statement, but go ahead. Okay.
I will try to find the clip for you. But you said that they were justified at the time. Then what's even more egregious is your take on January 6th. You initially had said to at least one other person, a left-wing streamer, and on a panel that I was on, that it was absurd to think this was a serious attempt to overthrow the government by the riot that day. You basically alluded to the fact that because there were so many people that outnumbered the police, that it's clear if they really were trying to violently overthrow the government, they'd have taken far greater actions. Now you're suggesting that people that disagree with your new position, that this was clearly an insurrection, are people that are fucking around and should find out because they can't call it out.
What do you think is the difference? Yeah, sure. What do you think is the difference between then and now, Rob?
There is no difference materially.
There
on
is
the
a
actions of the
huge
people.
difference in what
There is.
we knew publicly at the time. There is a huge difference in what was publicly known. You can go and I'm sure you've listened to me and Pisco argue about this at length on my channel.
Yes.
I was massively against the concept of it being an insurrection originally until it came out that there were some Proud Boys people there that were trying to coordinate some shit. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe. But then once all of the Trump stuff came out, abso-fucking-lutely, on Donald Trump's end, 100%, he was engaging in insurrection and he was utilizing the protesters to do as much. Now, whether or not all of the protesters themselves, knowingly, even the ones that broke in, knew that they were part of an insurrection or not, at this point, I kind of lean towards yes, but I'm not like as on it. But Donald Trump, absolutely and unequivocally yes.
The difference is the actions that were taken by people that day are what would constitute an insurrection. And those actions have been on display for you to see the public evidence of the day of January 6th and all throughout after that. And you correctly came to the conclusion that it was a riot that got out of hand. Now, let's say that you think because of evidence, you even specifically said, of course, there might have been some Proud Boy type people there LARPing. They might have done some bad shit. But the overwhelming majority of the people that were there, it was not a serious attempt to overthrow the government. It was a riot. Now, let's say that you've since heard evidence of things Donald Trump did. That doesn't change whether the action itself was an insurrection. You have no evidence that Trump willfully told those people to go be violent. And in fact, the irony is,
hold on.
Yep.
Donald Trump invited all of those people to Washington to give a speech on the 6th at the same time that he had given Pence 7 false slates of electors and pressured him to accept them. And then he sent them all to the Capitol building, I guess, hopefully to protest to delay the certification of the vote. And as it was being delayed, he made calls to the lawmakers continuing to try to delay the certification of the vote. And the people at the White House or at the Capitol building were using violence as part of the protest/riot. That's an insurrection.
That is not an insurrection. And if you call that an insurrection and narrow the definition as such, then you would have to admit that things like May 31st, 2020, where there were violent left-wingers that, unlike January 6th, used lethal weapons, injured 47 guards, burned down a guard station, and attempted to get into the White House to the point where Trump had to be removed into a bunker, which then many on the left, including Joe Biden, mocked him for having to go to the bunker. That would also be an insurrection. And one of the points I want to get across
just as a quick thing, okay? All right, this is the difference between me and every single spineless fuck on the right. If you were to give me an example of this, and if the examples were to lay out the criteria that I've set forth for an insurrection, what do you think I would say?
Well, you know of this. I would think you would say that there are some sort of meaningless differentiations because no two situations will ever be completely analogous.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not true. What I would say, and I'll say it right now, that's not true. It's funny that you think that there's a shortage of criticism for fucking BLM or whatever on my side, when that's one of the things I'm the most criticized for. That's fucking hilarious. But no, if you were to show me that there was some organized group of people who were trying to circumvent or overthrow some fucking government process, and that they did so in a means that incorporated violence, I'd probably say, oh, wow, I guess that could probably qualify as an insurrection too. Sure. That's probably what I would say, if assuming I saw the evidence.
Okay, then real quick, because the FBI decided not to have a massive task force because Democrats seemed to say it was mostly peaceful, the National Guard shouldn't be deployed, et cetera, because that investigation didn't take place, use your best judgment. What do you think a bunch of violent lefties with Molotov cocktails attacking the White House, injuring 47 guards and burning down a guard station in an attempt to get into the White House, what do you think their motivations were?
I truly have no fucking idea. I haven't looked into it at all.
Right. Isn't it convenient? The FBI never investigates the things that occur on the Democrat side, and then you say, well, what can we do? We don't have
the
evidence.
FBI never investigates. Hold on, I'm sorry. What did Hunter Biden get convicted of? For having drugs in a video? So therefore he lied on a 4473 for a firearm? Hold on, the FBI never investigates their own or Democrats or convicts them? What was the whole fucking, not Durham, what was the thing about Biden and the fucking documents or whatever, that whole special counsel or whatever that was appointed by Merrick Garland, the Democrat DOJ? And I'm sorry, who did Donald Trump pardon? Every single fucking person that got convicted that was part of him? How the fuck are you trying to say there's a double standard here that doesn't exist on the Republican side? You're insane, Rob.
The rapidity in raising your voice is unimpressive to me. I could do it just as well.
Do it then, knock yourself out.
Nonetheless, right? No, it's clear. For example, let's take those one by one. The investigation into Biden, it was covered up from the get-go. The only reason that it ever resulted in any charges was because 2 whistleblowers from the IRS outed the fact that the FBI was covering for this. Now we know the CIA was as well. Then a judge blew apart the sweetheart plea deal that was given to Hunter Biden. So with egg on their face, they charged him with the most meaningless crime that couldn't be connected to his father and their family, which was a gun charge when he was high, which I don't even think he should have been charged for.
Was it that? Hold on. This happened under Donald Trump's administration. Wouldn't it have been his FBI?
Yes, the same FBI that wanted an insurance policy and preventing him. The same FBI that for 4 years leaked to the press and illegally spied on him. Yes.
The same FBI where Comey came out and he made statements to the press about Hillary's email usage in a totally unprecedented manner. The same FBI that had.
Are you going to clown yourself on this again after the last time I clowned you on this?
Oh my God.
You're wrong? Sure, everyone in the audience, me and Destiny went back and forth for over an hour on this. And the IG report showed that actually the reason that Comey did that and then had to come out later and re-announce the opening of the Hillary investigation was because the FBI intentionally sat on the fact that there were more emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop.
Your entire argument hinges, and the same thing that you just put forth now hinges on the idea that 1 or 2 whistleblowers can force the hand of a 3-letter to make anything public, ignoring the fact that people like Julian Assange have been like fucking pushed out of the country for like over a fucking decade. You're telling me that the FBI or whatever, they're so fucking corrupt that they can engage in all this cover that they'd be pressured to have 1 or 2 whistleblowers make the media like force them to release shit? They could just ignore it and American minds will move on in literally 1 fucking week.
So you see how Destiny laments when he's talking to left-wingers that don't understand the facts of the case, how they're uninformed. But when Preston, someone's more informed of these IG reports than him, that show this is exactly what happened, that Comey himself admitted that the reason he came out was because there was this whistleblower that was going to come out, and he was afraid that the FBI would have an albatross on their neck because the American people would be furious after the election to find out that there was an allegation that the FBI sat on evidence of Hillary's potential criminality. And he got blown up in that debate. He knows it. But he defaults to these meaningless platitudes as saying, well, there could never be corruption from whistleblowers outing because if that was the case, then whistleblowers would have always outed, or the FBI would have been more corrupt in taking care of them. It's nonsensical. And so furthermore, then, let's going to the Herbert. Oh, I'll finish with this. The Biden business, the Hunter Biden business, what they didn't charge was the obvious FARA violations because they didn't want it to connect to Joe Biden. The fact that Hunter Biden was working with the spy chief of China, with the executives in Burisma that were considered by Joe Biden himself to be corrupt foreign oligarchs, and was lobbying to the United States and no doubt his father. Those are the crimes that aren't being charged.
Okay, sorry, hold on. I stepped away for a minute. I'm so sorry. I know that you were doing your whole fucking rant.
I'm very good at it.
Relating to the insurrection stuff, do you agree that Donald Trump tried to get 7 false slates of electors?
I'd call them alternate slates, but yes.
Hold on. They were not certified or appointed by the state legislatures. Do you acknowledge that they were fraudulent slates? That when they signed the papers that said that we assembled at City Hall and we are the state assembly and we are the duly appointed blah blah blah, that was a lie. They were fraudulent.
I will say this. Unlike you, I will stay on the topic that you're desperately trying to change to because you're getting blown out on the other side.
Hold on, excuse me. The whole point of this call wasn't to debate every single fucking AGI report and everything that Rob Noor wanted to talk about. That was the point of this fucking call. The point of this was...
You brought up Hunter Biden.
The point of this... The point...
Out,
no, it's not about getting blown out. The point of this...
Not to interrupt each other. Let each other speak, please. I don't want to mute anyone because Destiny said you don't want to be muted. I'm trying to respect that wish because you agreed to come on and I really appreciate it. Can you guys just let each other finish sentences? Just like a little bit more than you are. It's hard to hear you guys.
Sure. The topic of this space, the thing that I came here to discuss, was not every single prior AGI report. It was the Trump insurrection stuff. That's what we were talking about with Kat. That's what I'm talking about right now. Do you think that Donald Trump did 7 false slates of electors?
I think he did alternate slates of electors that his team recommended as a legal strategy, that was a potential to go through because he felt that the election was fraudulently taken from him and that courts were unwilling to hear cases that he truly believed in.
Would you support President Biden if he SEAL Team 6 Donald Trump? Because he thinks he legitimately thinks what if he legitimately thinks he's a threat to the nation?
I would not support that. I would not have supported Donald Trump if he did the same to Joe Biden.
Well, but you did support. Why would you support Donald Trump? No, we don't need an analogy. We don't need an analogy. Why would you support Donald Trump creating false slates of electors?
But so let's do the analogy. Would I support Joe Biden using a false slate of electors?
No, it doesn't count now. It doesn't. Wait, no?
Let me answer, please. I would be pissed off. I would say that that's terrible. I wouldn't think that it's criminal. I think that what would happen would be that this was an attempt to have a legal challenge to the election that was a Hail Mary. I think that had Trump been successful and Mike Pence gone through with this, it would have went to the courts. The courts would have quickly said, we don't see evidence of any sort of cheating.
Hold on, wait. I'm sorry, wait. One step at a time before you do your whole weird revision bullshit, okay? So you admit that the initial 7 slates, those were not authorized by the state assemblies, right?
I do believe that's the case, yes.
Okay, so they were fraudulent. I don't know why you're saying alternate.
Okay, wait.
They were...
Just Just to be autistic, 2 of those out of the 7 did specifically write on them that they were alternates to the main person and only to be brought in if it was found that they were the legitimate electors.
I would have to read that. I
That was
wouldn't trust.
Pennsylvania and New
Don't know
Mexico.
that, but yeah.
Okay, I would have to go and read that. I definitely wouldn't trust hearing that secondhand. But regardless, they were filled out. They claimed on the things. I guess maybe on 2 of them they didn't. So maybe 5 were false. Okay. When these were sent to Congress, the goal wasn't to have a legitimate debate over the election and whether or not there was voter fraud. They were trying to commit fraud, Rob. Right? They weren't looking to have a substantive debate on the floor about whether or not voter fraud had occurred. They were trying to push their own fraudulent electoral votes.
No, that's not true. What was occurring was that, you tell me then, this would be the easiest way to do it. Let's say Mike Pence accepts the alternate slate. What would happen then?
Well, nobody knows. Eastman says that he had several different plans for what could have possibly happened. He could have said that he's accepting the 7 alternate slates. He's going to cut short, I think, the time that the floor can debate, and he either accepts them or he throws it back to the House delegation and they make Trump the president.
What would have happened would have been that it would have went to the court. It would have been basically a constitutional crisis that the court would have looked into. The court would have either found evidence of fraud or not. Most likely you would believe they wouldn't have. And the election would have went to Joe Biden.
Hold on. No, hold on. I'm so sorry. This was not written in any of the Eastman memos. This wasn't the goal. The goal was to get the House delegation to make Trump the president or to get Pence to just choose the false elector slates and for him to make Trump the president. That was the goal.
Right. And what would have happened would have been that it would have went to the Supreme Court.
You don't know that? Why do you just assume that?
It's clear. So you think what would have happened when Pence would have just said Trump's president and everyone would have said, shucks, I've been in.
Let's say that Pence says Trump's president and then Trump remains president, and then what? How does it go to the court? Who investigates that?
The courts would have, as an emergency measure, taken the case immediately. Now,
Wait. The courts would have taken the case from who?
Would have taken the cases that the alternate electors were claiming that there was
Who brings the case, Rob? The federal government isn't going to do it because Donald Trump is the head of the DOJ.
Oh, horseshit. There would have been people that would have spoke up from not just the federal government, that were Democrat attorney generals, etc., but there would have been people outside of that would have demanded the courts hear this case.
You can't just demand a court hears a case. There has to be a plaintiff. Somebody has to file the complaint and bring the case in front of a court. Courts don't choose what they want to hear. Who has standing besides the federal government? Who would have standing there?
Well, who had standing anyways when it came to that? Wasn't that the issue you were okay with when it came to not hearing cases from Texas, that no one had standing?
These weren't about the vice president in his official duties as head of the Senate. These were totally different cases. I don't know if anybody has standing. You're just the thing that I'm challenging. And by the way, I'm screaming at you, but it might have been maybe that a state maybe could have brought this case before the Supreme Court. For the current one, I sure as fuck wouldn't have trusted them to hear it, but maybe they could have. But for you to act like it's a foregone conclusion that, oh no, well, obviously any state could have gone before the Supreme Court and challenged the way that the certification went. You don't fucking know that. Maybe that's the thing that only the federal government has standing to do. I don't know for in the Constitution if the states have the right to challenge how the federal government certifies the election. That sounds like something that would be outside of the purview of the states.
I think that it's quite clear that the states that a Democratic state would have said that they had standing because they felt disenfranchised, and the Supreme Court would have been willing to hear that.
Really? Texas tried that with Pennsylvania, and the Supreme Court told them to kick rocks. So why would you assume a state has standing to challenge how the federal government certifies its votes?
Because what they told to kick rocks was the fact that one state doesn't have the right to say how another state adjudicates their elections. This would have been different because it would have had the federal government choosing to take a slate of electors that weren't chosen by, say, a Democratic state like, say, Arizona. Right?
Sure, maybe the 7 states affected, maybe they could have brought the case. Maybe, but we don't. But for you to pretend that you know 100% that they would have had standing to do it, and that they would have heard the case, and that it would have turned out a-okay, that the Supreme Court would have sided with them, that in 2 weeks the Supreme Court would have made a decision, despite the fact that Donald Trump would also then be president. You don't know any of that. And also, look at how far gone you are. Look at how far gone you are. You're like, well, I mean, Trump could have stolen the election and essentially soft-cooed the government. With violence, I guess it would kind of be an insurrection, but we'll just say soft-cooed the government. However, like maybe the Supreme Court would have heard it within maybe like a month or 2 or 3, and then hopefully they would have ruled on the side of, it would have had to have been, 7 different conjoined cases? Then, hopefully for every single case, they present these correct. Like, how long would this have taken? Like, look at how far gone you are. You're like, okay, and then 10 months into the term, the president has to step down? Like, It's unhinged.
We'll let Rob respond, and then we'll move on to some other speakers that have their hand up. Is that cool, Rob? Is that okay?
Yes, I will be. It's not that far gone. It's obvious that would have occurred. It's not something that I supported. I thought there were court cases that should have been heard in places like Georgia and other places, Pennsylvania, where there were election challenges that should have been heard. But there was never definitive proof, and I was against Mike Pence signing off on those. He didn't. But I'm okay for criminality to try to attempt a legal strategy like this. This wasn't a coup that was near as damaging as what you have ignored, which was the FBI's behavior towards Trump.
What would the criminality even be here? Who would be doing the criminal behavior?
What criminal behavior? You're the one that's supporting Trump going to jail for this.
No, I'm asking you, like, let's say it goes to the Supreme Court. What are they even challenging?
They would challenge whether or not the ultimate slate of electors were legitimate because there was actually fraud claims that were true. That the Supreme Court wouldn't have been holding a criminal case at that point.
Hold on, wait a second. If you're arguing, hold on, just so I can be clear. You're saying that in an ideal world, it would have gone to the Supreme Court would have looked at it, and then the Supreme Court would have ruled in favor of the states in having the correct slates of electors chosen?
Correct.
Then why the fuck did you call them alternate slates instead of fraudulent slates, Rob?
Because their feel was that there was a legitimate incorrect count.
When the fuck has that ever mattered? And if I feel like the bank owes me $1 million and I go and rob the bank, can I use that as an affirmative defense in court?
In Hawaii, when there was 2 slates of electors, was one fake?
No, because both were authorized by the state, Rob. Are you aware of that?
I am aware. But
then why? Wait. Why did you just bring up Hawaii? Did you think I didn't know about it? No, hold on. Wait a second. Why did you bring up? Why did you bring up Hawaii then when we're talking about a presidential candidate that got 7 false slates of electors certified in order to send to Congress? Why would you bring up Hawaii as a counterexample to that?
I've talked to you about Hawaii.
Then why would you bring it up?
Because
guys,
I'm
going to. Sorry to interrupt. We've been going.
Okay. Here, wait. Give Rob the last word. Go ahead.
Right.
Pardon?
I'll just say.
Give Rob the last word and then we go.
Even though the states accepted it, as you know, each state can choose their own manner in which they adjudicate this. If a state wanted to have an issue with alternate slates of electors, that's one thing. The idea that it's a federal crime for Trump to suggest this is another. And the point I'm trying to make is what happened in Hawaii was they had to put that alternate slate because the time frame on when these slates of electors had to be accepted was going to run out before they could do the recount that they found was necessary. And no one said that's fake slate of electors. The idea, what you seem to be implying is a fake slate is somehow that they were nefarious and lying and there was a chance that Mike Pence wouldn't have known. It's absurd. They knew which were the slate that was chosen by the states and those which weren't. And they know that those which weren't were protesting the election, which they had every right to do. It may have been ham-fisted. It may have been stupid optically, but it's not a criminal charge. And given what we saw from agencies that you supported for years, like the FBI illegally spying on Trump, that was more of a coup to this country than Trump's failed attempt to have the courts look at fraud from these election cases.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We can revisit if people want to revisit that further. Their hands up. I'd like to get to some of the hands. We have Darwin, and then I believe it was the older millennial, then Lauren, and then Christian Lamar. So in that order, Darwin, feel free to unmute and speak, and then we'll move on to the next speakers. And let's try to, keep it one at a time so that people can hear. I have people getting mad at me in the DMs that when you guys talk over each other, no one can hear anything. Thanks.
Hey, Destiny, how's it going?
Great.
So I'm curious. You talk about how if you mess around, then you find out. And basically, what I understand your position to be, listening so far, is if somebody supports Trump or if they go to a Trump rally, then it's open season on them. Do I have you wrong there?
I wouldn't say it's open season. I'm just saying if shit happens, I mean, I don't know why anybody would have any sympathy.
Well, are you actually against people shooting Trump supporters at this point?
I think it's probably not a good idea, but again, I don't have any sympathy for it. I don't care.
Okay. Do you think that it's democratic to shoot people who are against democracy?
In some cases, probably, yeah. Just depends on the case, right? I mean, isn't that kind of what the whole Revolutionary War was about? Was shooting people that were trying to prevent our democracy? You guys are the ones that marched with the 1776 thing, right?
Well, I suppose.
Do you think that like revolutions and shit that are fighting for democracies, do you think they shoot people that are against democracy to defend democracy?
Yeah, I think people typically shoot people whenever there's a revolution.
Okay.
But it's just interesting to me, I thought the whole point of democracy is that you vote. You don't shoot people who want to run government in a different way. Is that not your understanding of democracy?
Typically it is. It's also my understanding of democracy that, say, for instance, if you've engaged in insurrection, that you're ineligible to hold office again. But that rule got wiped away by the Supreme Court because we didn't like it, because we had to make an exception for Donald Trump to run for president again. So I guess like the rules of democracy just don't seem to apply in the same way when it comes to Donald Trump. It's also my understanding, for instance, that you can impeach a person in the House and then convict them in the Senate if you feel they've done wrong and you want to not have them hold future office. But Republicans disagreed with that, and they said, actually, you can impeach a man that's out of office. It was also my understanding that people can be held criminally liable for the actions that they perform, irrespective of their position in society, that no man is above the law. But the Supreme Court has also disagreed with that, and now Trump enjoys absolute criminal immunity for every core action as president, and presumptive immunity, at least, for basically every other thing he did while president. So all of these ideas of what a democracy is and how you hold people accountable in democracy seems like Trump and his fans don't like any of those rules. So again, if you make a king, I mean, people are going to treat him as a king.
Yeah, it's just strange to me. It seems like and let me know if you're wrong, but if I'm wrong here, but it seems like you would be fine with taking out half the country as long as they are in support of Trump because he's a dictator.
Would I be fine with it? Probably not. It'd be pretty tragic, but I think it's more tragic that we've gotten to the point where half the country supports an insurrectionist. And I don't appreciate that for some reason conservatives have been able to dictate so much of the media agenda that we're just supposed to accept that as normal.
Do you think maybe the way that you're talking speaks to the way that politics has a way of poisoning our minds?
I think that if that was the case, I don't think this is like a person at the bottom of a pool, like died with black water, trying to tell me what he sees on the surface of the pool. Like if you're somebody that has sit there and retweeted every epic own where Tim Pool is saying civil war, where Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these people are talking about Nancy Pelosi's husband, where everybody's denying that the Whitmer thing ever happened, whatever that is, whatever that group of people are, they are unequipped and they are unable to levy any legitimate criticism towards anybody else that's laughing at the fact that somebody showing up at a fucking dictator rally ends up getting shot by a guy trying to kill the dictator. No, whatever criticism there are to make there, that side wouldn't be able to make it.
And that's because that side supports January 6th, is that right?
That's because that side supports an insurrection against the government.
Which is January 6th, correct?
That and the events leading up to it, yes.
Right. So it seems like what I'm understanding is you don't have to be held morally accountable for any of the things that you're doing because the other side supports an insurrectionist. So it's okay to kill them. It's okay to.
I never said it was okay to kill them. The country has laws. If you shoot somebody or whatever, you should be held. Well, ooh, actually, I don't. Actually, hold on. I'm so sorry. Wait, I want to walk that back. I don't think in a room full of conservatives, I wouldn't say that anything should be like you should be held criminally liable for anything. I don't know if I would feel comfortable saying that around conservatives because apparently you guys think that that's not the case. That some people in this country shouldn't be held criminally liable for some things. But if I was in a room full of friendly people that actually appreciated rule of law, then I would say, if you shoot and kill somebody, regardless of the reason, well, not regardless. I mean, self-defense, whatever is acceptable. But no, you should be held criminally liable, of course.
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, why don't you speak out against the violence instead of making light of it and basically encouraging it?
The encouragement comes from the other side that anointed a king. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton saying illegitimate president is contributing to the current conditions in this country more than the guy who's literally known for making up bad nicknames for political opponents. That's fucking wild. 95% of why Trump is even supported by you dipshits is because of how epic he is on Twitter. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and chastise people on the left who are being a little bit divisive about rhetoric. It's insane.
Okay. I was just curious about that. One other thing I'm really curious about. Go ahead, Clint.
Real quick, just to piggyback off your point about democracy, Stephen's point is that basically Donald Trump is this existential threat because he's an insurrectionist and ultimately a threat to democracy. But at the same time, he's saying that 70 million Americans are essentially not fair game, but, deserve no sympathy if they're caught up in the crossfire of this brewing war. Why do you still think that democracy is worth defending if you believe that the favorite to be the next president of the United States is ultimately a threat to democracy itself? Doesn't that kind of defeat the entire argument in favor of democracy?
It might, actually, yeah. I mean, like, that's always a possibility that this is like we're approaching the end of the American experiment We have the longest surviving constitution of any currently established government on the country, and the guy that we're voting for right now likely wants to suspend that constitution so that he can investigate his political opponents for criminal wrongdoing, and half the country seems to not give a fuck. So it might be that like this is the end of the road, and that this is kind of where we get off the American democratic experiment train. It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the older. Let's go to the older millennial, and then Lauren Southern, to keep it kind of flowing, and then we can take more requests after that if you're still willing to oblige.
Yeah, I don't think my point's going to take that long. It's like, so I mean, I've heard Destiny speak a lot, and I think he's made it very clear, and even made it very clear in this live that you believe nobody's above the law. You believe everybody who commits criminal activity should be prosecuted for criminal activity, and then on an earlier point, you were talking about the classified documents. You were saying that Trump having them for a year shows criminality, shows he should be prosecuted.
Hold on, to be clear, wait, Trump having them for a year doesn't show anything. It's the fact that he had them, he knew he had them, he knew they were classified, and that he didn't classify them, and that he knowingly kept them and then obstructed investigators from getting to them.
Okay, I completely agree with anybody that I don't disagree with people that think that Trump holding on to those documents, he should be prosecuted for it. I don't disagree with you. And now him having them for a year and holding on to them and knowing they were classified, knowing he wasn't supposed to have them, that points out criminality. Totally get that. Now, under that same vein and under the fact that nobody is above the law, that we know from transcripts from Robert Hur during interviews that in 2018, Biden was aware that he had classified documents that he wasn't supposed to have. We know that he even said to his ghostwriter, he said they just found the classified documents downstairs. So that it's not debatable whether or not he knows he had them. So that would be 2018, where he's not in office. And he didn't have a right to take them because he was VP anyway. And then he had them, and then he didn't turn them in until late 2023. So that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 years of knowingly retaining classified documents that he does not have a right to. So under the idea that nobody's above the law, he should certainly be prosecuted too.
Sure, if you want to charge him with a crime, go for it.
Okay, no, that's just what I wanted to clarify, because I was hearing that because the question got asked where you were asked earlier, what about Biden having those documents, and you definitely did not answer that question. You said you wanted him to answer your question first, and we never got the answer to that. So I was just curious,
Well, because the whataboutism is just like silly that like the documents case of what Trump is facing is like the least of the concerns. I would say that the whole conspiracy to defraud the American public and throw the election, I would say is like the bigger concern. But yeah, if you want to charge Biden with a fucking crime or whatever, knock yourself out, charge him and see how it goes in court. I guess. Yeah.
So, I'm not asking about charging. What I'm asking is, so you believe that Trump is a criminal for what he did with the classified documents? So then that
well, hold on. Do I believe that? Well, hold on. Wait. We need to know. I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify. Hold on. When we say, do I think someone is a criminal? I think that from what I've seen in the indictments, I think that Donald Trump is rightfully charged with the things that he's indicted for. Now, is he a criminal? Well, he would have to go to court, and if he's convicted, then he would be. Well, I guess right now he is. Well, maybe we'll see if he gets thrown out. I guess after the Supreme Court ruling, if he beats the conviction or whatever for whatever reason, then he wouldn't be a criminal. But I think that the charges are warranted. Yes.
So you would feel that even if the courts found him innocent, let him go, there wouldn't be any videos about how he got away with it because it was a judge he put in there. It would just be that's the way the justice system works, and he's obviously innocent.
If he went through the court process and assuming there wasn't like anything fucking unhinged or insane that happened, then yeah, I mean sometimes people you don't like win in court. Like it happens. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it happens. Be like, okay, well he won. He survived the process. Yeah.
I'm just saying that under your line of thinking, if we're being logically consistent, then the current occupant of the White House committed criminal activity.
Okay.
Okay, just supporting a criminal. Something you accuse conservatives of doing a lot.
No, it's not really about supporting a criminal. I don't think I've used that phrase a single time in here. So the problem is you come under here with the assumption that I'm as much of a cowardly fuck as you are, and that I won't hold my side to account because you won't hold your side to account. If you think that Biden had done, the fact that you had to walk me through 5 minutes of wasted time to say if you think that Biden there's reasonable suspicion or probable cause he committed a crime, would you support charges against him? And if he did do it, yeah, of course I would. Fine, charge him, convict him, whatever the fuck. Sure. The problem isn't that I don't even know if you could perceive my character from the puddle on the ground that you move around in. Okay.
We had perceived your character as a 30-year-old man that traveled across the world to go fuck a 18-year-old girl.
Okay. Well, now I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm gonna travel across the world to go fuck your mom. Okay. All I'm saying is that the reason. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Don't cut him off. Hold on. I'm just saying. Wait.
Hands, please.
Yeah, wait, hold on, real quick.
You guys have resorted to insults now. I
apologize.
Wait, no, it's okay. We love insults here. Okay, it's fine. Hold on, just as a real quick thing. Okay, I don't care if people support like a.
Real quick, and then I would like to move on to Lauren, please.
Hold on. Aren't I half the owner of the space? Let the guy finish. Hold on. I just want to make one point, and then he can make one point, and then you can move on to Lauren again. Okay. No Canadian favoritism here. Okay.
Co-host instead.
Am I not a co-host?
No, you're just a speaker.
Okay, well, just...
Okay, go on. Finish your point.
Yes,
Sorry, interrupting. Then we'll move on to Lauren. Finish your point.
Sure. Okay, yeah, well, then give him the last word, okay? I don't care. Like, supporting a criminal is not my thing. It's supporting an insurrectionist. That's what I've said since the very beginning. I'm sure that if you go through a lot of people's actions, you might be able to find crimes. Maybe you could charge them for, maybe they'd even get convicted for. My issue right now is not the documents case with Donald Trump. That's just one of the 4 indictments that he was facing. The 2 huge ones, the Georgia one and the big federal one, the Jack Smith one about insurrection, those are the 2 massive things, okay? I don't even know if you want to support a president who's had criminal charges, who did criminal behavior, I don't even think that's necessarily anti-American, depending on what you're criminally charged with. There's a whole host of like stupid things there where it's like, that's criminal, you should probably be held accountable for it, but it's not like anti-American. Supporting an insurrection absolutely is.
It's not anti-American to not actually keep track of classified documents that put our classified activities in danger. That's not anti-American. That's not.
I mean, it would depend. It would depend on.
As somebody who spent 10 years in the Army, I know that anybody that misplaced any classified materials in the Army, if you misplaced even a low-level classified document, one of them, you were going to lose rank, you were going to lose pay, you were very likely going to be getting jail in the Army. You're definitely going to be discharged from the military. So.
Hold on, just as a real quick thing. You probably, I mean, you could be discharged, you could lose your job, you could lose rank, whatever. Likely criminally charged? Probably not.
Here's the thing. First of all, as somebody who worked in the crypto side of the Army, yes, you will be criminally charged. In fact, I've seen people be criminally charged. I've seen soldiers be criminally charged for losing a crypto device in a Humvee that was blown the fuck up. So yes,
yeah, no, that doesn't happen. No, that doesn't happen. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I'll tweet you. I'll tweet you the guy.
Yeah, that's great.
I was just gonna add something real quick. I would say that's
sorry, Myron. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for coming on. I know I usually troll you pretty hard, but we can put that aside for now. Lauren had her hand up, and then I believe it was Christian Lamar, and then we can go. Let's do the hands. Let's get through the hands that people have been waiting patiently for, and then we can get to you because I'm willing to host the space as long as Destiny's willing. Okay, is that cool?
Am I supposed to say yes to that?
Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, listening to this, it sounds like whenever you go back to the electors stuff, you make it sound very cut and dry. Like this was an insurrection. This was extremely deliberate, extremely illegal. Like, how could they? This has never been done before in the country's history. But when I read about it a bit, like fake certificates, this is from AP News, fake certificates were submitted in the battleground states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In New Mexico and Pennsylvania, fake electors added caveat saying the certificate was submitted in case they were later recognized as duly elected qualified electors. That would only have been possible if Trump had won any of several dozen legal battles he waged against states in the weeks after the election. Republican Party of New Mexico Chairman Steve Pierce said Friday that the state faced numerous election challenges that had the possibility of going before a court. Therefore, he said the GOP electors cast their votes by the deadline written within federal statute in the event the election outcome changed. And Democratic Attorney General Torres agrees that the Republican electors did not violate the law, but now he wants to criminalize the process used by both Democrats and Republicans, Pierce said, referring to the 1960 presidential election in which Democrat electors in Hawaii cast votes for John F. Kennedy, despite that state initially being called for Republican Richard Nixon. So this sounds like a little more complicated than just this cut and dry, like Trump was trying to steal the election with his electors.
Hold on. Why? The whole point of submitting the false slates of electors were so that Vice President Pence would choose them when Congress was counting the votes in order to choose the false slates of electors, or to use them to cause confusion, to throw it back to the House delegation, to just make Trump the president. There is no part of that that is a legitimate or legal process.
Well, then why did the Attorney General, the Democrat Attorney General, agree that the electors did not violate the law?
Saying that somebody didn't violate a particular criminal statute in a state speaks nothing to the federal case of the criminal conspiracy to overturn the election. It might be that in 2 states, maybe they found a carve-out or a caveat to avoid criminal charges, but the electorates were not chosen by that state, and the goal of those electorates was not to represent the actual voters of the state. The goal was for Pence to unilaterally declare Trump the president in Congress using a variety of means.
All All right, I'll read the indictments and we can have a debate about this at a further date, but it definitely seems like a little more complex than
It's absolutely not. I know it seems that way, but it's just because it's the first time you've ever read it into it in your entire life, and now you're trying to nibble around the edges of like, well, actually, the way they crossed this T on this particular thing, maybe, I know, and I'm going to love when you come back and you're like, oh, well, actually, if you actually look in 17, or actually in the year 1427, there was a British king once, and he talked to a feudal lord, and when they were doing their play electorate college for their children, they actually did this thing, and the common law said, bullshit. The people voted in a certain way. The electorate slates were not contested. This has never been a thing that's been contested. And Donald Trump is laid out in a whole thing. As part of your reading, you should Google Eastman memo, and you can read the whole plan. Nothing about that is democratic. Nothing about that is legal. It hinged on them assuming that the electoral count was unconstitutional and that they would be able to challenge it on the floor and have it thrown to the court while they cause mayhem and seat Trump as president. No part of this comes off as like a legal democratic process, even if an individual elector in a state might avoid state criminal charges for it.
Great, I will read it because I sure as shit am not taking your word for it.
Okay.
Okay, we can go to
Yeah.
It was
Christian.
Christian. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. So I got a question for Destiny. Do you first of all you live in the United States, right?
Unfortunately,
Correct.
right now, yeah.
Okay. And do you know? I'm assuming you're a citizen here. So do you know what kind of country you live in, as far as the type of government is the country? Are the three branches of government, Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, are the three branches of government, do those three branches equal a democracy?
Do those three? Are you trying to quiz me on structures of government? I'm pretty sure democracy just means that the people vote on things.
No.
I think a republic means that you've got representatives that create legislation for you. I think we're considered a democratic republic, but we're also a constitutional republic. It's a constitution that sources the three separate branches of power. I don't know. What are you trying to quiz me on to see if I don't know it? It's some fucking trivia of American government. Yeah, tell me. What are you asking?
Okay, so you because again of all the things that you have said, you've reverted back to saying that the country is either a democratic or a democracy. So the
country is a democracy.
One second. So is the word democratic, democracy, or Democrat written in the text of the U.S. Constitution?
I don't know if it's written in the text of the U.S. Constitution, but voting is. And
okay. So I'll answer it for you. It's not. Okay. So you have first of all, Article 2.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Wait. Before you go on this whole yap fest, are you gonna try to make the argument to me that the United States is not a democracy? Is that?
It's not a democracy. It's not.
How do you define democracy?
Because you said that it would be okay with shooting someone if they did not believe or agree that the country is a democracy or democratic or Democrat, whatever the case may be, but it's not. And you have
sure, wait, real quick, so that we're on the same page. How do you define a democracy?
A democracy is not what we have.
I didn't ask what it's not. Is this a troll? What is a democracy?
It would be primarily based on, number one, using the popular vote as much as possible.
Yeah, that's not true. No, that's not true.
And then number two, democracy allows the government to go around the text of the Constitution and not abide strictly by the text in the Constitution. So in our country, we have the three branches. We have, first of all, Article 3 is appointed by Article 2, and also Article 3 has to be confirmed by a half of Article 1. Article 2 is elected by the Electoral College, and then even when you look at Article 1 is divided up by congressional seats based on our census. That census is also divvied up according to the Electoral College, and then you have the maps that are drawn out.
Okay, I'm good. I don't need the fake fucking government lesson. If you don't have anything else to say, we just go to the next person. Other people want to speak.
Your whole premise.
If there are other people, sir, I honestly don't give a fuck with what you have to say. I don't need to listen to somebody talk about how the country that I live in isn't a democracy. Then why are you speaking? Then why are you talking?
Thank you. I know you don't care. Okay. So now going back to
poke me when this dude is done, okay?
Okay. Do you think he's done?
Hasn't been.
Nope, he's still yapping. Fuck, I didn't mean for this to go on. He's doing the U.S. as a republic and not a democracy. He might want to make the super strict argument that like an individual citizen gets a right to vote isn't like founded in the in any of the Constitution, which I'm pretty sure is technically true because, like I mean, we've said this before. The states vote for president, but like the idea that like the people are the ones that vote for things, that it's we the people, it's not we the representative, it's not we the parliament, it's not we the Congress, is the idea that this guy would come on and try to make the argument. Well, actually, we're not a democracy at all. We're some other whatever autistic shit he was arguing for, I guess. Jesus Christ. Do they know you muted him? I have no idea. Don't know, don't care.
No, it's not a.
No, he's still going. I think at one point senators were appointed by state legislatures rather than directly elected. That is true until I think was that relatively recently. Your federal senators, the people that go to your law house, were just chosen by the by your state assembly. When did states change how they vote for senators? Since 1913. It might even be found, I think we need to do a constitution stream. I think in the original constitution, I think it was founded, I think in the original wording that, no, I don't think it would have been, that the state assembly chose senators. I don't remember where that was. Or it might have been. I don't know. Someday we'll go through all the amendments and everything. Quick 940 while he yaps. Wait, fuck. Oh shit, I muted this. Here we go. Okay, hold on. We're in the zone. We got a 950 coming up. Hold on, I can feel it. Wait, one sec.
Narrative.
No, he's still going. Okay, hold on. Fuck. Hold on, I was distracted by his stupid voice. Hold on. Fuck, I missed a lot. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I didn't even, wait, does it not even count your last hit? Hold on one more time. Okay, hold on, here we go. I know I can get a 950. It's in here. Hold on.
Power. And then my final point is, if the people understood their power, our government would look so different. But it's
Is this guy still going? What the fuck?
It's because of the failure
Wait, hello?
of our citizens and our
Can you not hear him,
people
Destiny?
It's because of the failure of our citizens and our own people to take responsibility. You live in the greatest country.
Okay, he's still going. Okay. All right, let's go.
Fuck. I shouldn't have looked. I looked at the end and I fucked myself. I fucked myself on these two. Hold on. Last one. Okay. I feel this one. Okay. I'm feeling this. Okay. I can feel this. Okay. Okay. Fuck. Wait.
Well, I don't know if I restart the space
Oh,
if
wait.
all the people will just join.
Wait, sorry. Am I here?
We'll
Hello?
give
Hello? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hi, what's up?
Maybe sometimes it glitches.
Oh, I had to mute because
So
that fucking retard was like yapping for 30 minutes. So
okay,
I just
okay.
walked away and did something,
Okay,
literally
all right.
smashed my head into a wall for 10 minutes, and it was a better use of my time than listening to
Okay,
that guy fucking
okay.
ramble on and on and on.
Okay.
I think I'm actually smarter for it too. I think I actually endured less
Okay.
brain damage smashing my head against the
Three of
wall than
those
listening
words
to
would
that
have
guy.
sufficed. Destiny, 3 of those words
Oh,
would have
okay.
sufficed to say
Fuck
what
that
you said,
retard.
okay?
Those are the 3
All
words
right,
I
all
needed.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we just move on to the Dan from X is in the space. He has a question, I believe, towards you. Dan, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Kat. Yeah, and I don't speak on any behalf of X whatsoever. This is only my own personal questioning and opinions. Hey, Destiny, I haven't seen your account until today, but I saw something you posted about the person who was murdered yesterday. Maybe it was just a troll, or maybe I read it wrong, but it seemed like you were laughing at the situation. I coupled that with the fact that I heard it like a passing reference to you regret that you still live in America. So I'm curious where you're coming from. And
Sure. So the first thing is, I thought it was funny that a dude that was like deep throating Putin on his Twitter account got murked at a insurrectionist rally event. I thought that was kind of funny. And then the second thing, the regret is that. Well, hold on. I'm just answering both your questions. The second thing was the regret is that half the citizens in this country right now seem to be like fully supportive of a guy who tried to launch an insurrection against the government. That's pretty wild. So those are my 2 takes on that.
Yeah, I don't want to touch the insurrection thing. I mean, I think the court can settle that. But did you
yeah, like they've settled everything else in favor of Trump. Yeah.
Did you say you thought it was funny that somebody was murdered for at a peaceful rally?
Well, I said murked, but
what do you mean by murked?
I don't know. He got shot. He got killed. Murder is a pretty strong word. Shouldn't we let the courts decide?
You don't think he was murdered? You think that was an accident?
Well, I don't know. It hasn't been evaluated yet. I don't think it was an accident, though. Weren't people saying that God guided the bullet and that's how Trump survived? Maybe God just really didn't like that one particular guy.
I feel like I'm wasting my time and you're just like extensively.
Sure. I've already given you the honest answer. You just don't like it. The honest answer is I have no sympathy. I think it's kind of funny. Yes, that's my answer. You can try to ask that like 20 different times, but that's my answer.
Murk or whatever, murder or whatever the hell you want. The guy was killed peacefully at a rally. Yeah, he might have responded to a post with something that you disagree with or something.
No, hold on. Not just something that I disagree with, something that is anti-democratic, and he's supporting an insurrectionist. So my sympathy is non-existent if shit happens. I don't care.
Shot.
So what?
You think somebody who expresses anti-democratic opinions on X should be shot?
Should be? No. Number one, people on X, if you work at this platform, are from all over the world. People are welcome to express whatever opinions. They're totally different countries and groups of people, whatever. Number two, if you're supporting a guy who tried to lead an insurrection against the government, should you be shot? I probably don't think so, and I don't think that's good. But if you are shot, am I going to lose any sleep over it? No, and I'm probably going to fucking make fun of you if it happens because it's fucking hilarious.
Do you hear what you're saying?
You hear what you're saying? Hold on. Why do I need to accept civility from people that are supporting an insurrectionist? Give me one positive argument there. Oh, wait.
I didn't hear what you said because I was still stuck on the you find it fucking hilarious that somebody got shot.
Oh, okay. I thought conservatives loved humor. My bad. Let me know when I'll hit the second point up if you are still stuck on that one.
Is that your sense of humor?
That when people support an insurrectionist and then they get shot and they're like, wait, what? Violence at the rallies for the guy that's saying we need to overthrow the Constitution? Yeah, that's funny to me.
Would it be funny if, so insurrection, you're saying it's funny because you think this guy supports an insurrection. You have no idea his actual full views and opinions. But
well, I know that he supports a candidate that tried to lead an insurrection against the government.
Can I fucking finish?
Well, just don't misrepresent what I say. Jeez.
Okay, so if there's an insurrection, say, such as any of these invasions of capitals from leftist protesters, if they were shot, you think that would be like, would it be cool if I thought it was funny that people got killed because they were doing something I didn't like or didn't agree? Like, I'm just trying to figure out if you're actually just trolling for.
Jeez. Well, hold on. Let me think about that for a moment. Would I actually think it would be funny if leftists were to get shot at protests where they were engaging in violence and where they were opposed to like institutions like democracy? Ooh, I don't know, Chief. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm not sure how I would feel about that. You know, I definitely don't have a huge history of being incredibly critical towards communists and socialists who engage in anti-democratic behavior.
Critical is not the same as supporting murder.
I didn't say I supported murder. I just said it was funny.
Laughing at murder, that's a lot different than being critical.
I think some of it is kind of funny, and I will laugh at it. The fact that one of the people that Rittenhouse killed was a fucking pedophile, I think that's kind of funny. That Rittenhouse was like 18 and he shot a dude that fucking touched kids when he was trying to touch Rittenhouse. I think that's kind of funny personally, and I bet you did too. But when it happens to your side, all of a sudden it's the worst fucking thing in the world, huh? Crazy how that works. Yeah, I do think it's funny sometimes.
Any crimes. This guy was peaceful. He wasn't committing any crimes.
Yes, I understand. Yes, he was peacefully supporting an insurrectionist. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. You can peacefully do a whole bunch of shit he wasn't protecting his family. Okay, fuck this guy.
Oh, really? He wasn't on top of his family protecting them.
I'm sure he was on top of something after he got shot and fell over. Yeah, but no, I don't give a fuck what he was doing after. He shouldn't have been at a fucking rally supporting an insurrectionist, in my opinion.
I have a question about that. So, like, maybe okay. So, if the man that was killed that you find funny, I guess, like, if he didn't, follow it as closely as you did and read every single memo and every single indictment, and he wasn't aware.
Stop. Don't stop. Hold on. No. Wait. Stop. Stop characterizing my position as reads every single thing. Okay, like it's like. It feels like with conservatives, if I show you a book like the Berenstain Bears, and I'm like, can you read this cover to cover? And you're like, wow. So if I can't read fucking Moby Dick, I'm not allowed to have an opinion on something? I'm asking for the bare minimum of political knowledge. The bare minimum. Like knowing what a president was charged with. I'm not asking for something exceptional.
You don't know how much knowledge he had.
There's only two possibilities. Either one, he had no knowledge, in which case, fuck him, you're still supporting an insurrectionist. In a democracy, you have some minimum responsibility to understand your candidates. Or two, he had a lot of knowledge, in which case, fuck him, he's knowingly supporting an insurrectionist.
Okay, so without knowing what he knew, it's still FAFO.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
Okay. And I would just like to say, thanks for eventually catching up and, agreeing not to shout at people.
Oh, sorry.
I think I'm pretty brave for taking on the brunt of your rage in the very beginning. I think maybe you're taking it out on me because you're angry with a whole lot of people, and then I just happened to ask for a chat, so I'm gonna overlook that and say thank you for agreeing to somewhat moderate your tone when you're speaking with the people, so thanks for that.
Sure. Also, just to be clear, the Corey dipshit was tweeting out he simped for Putin and he supported the January 6th shit. So just to be clear, he did.
What do you mean simped? Like, can you
there was some picture of 4 people and one of them was Putin. It was like, if you had to save any of the people in this picture, which one would you save? And he was like, I would save Putin. And then he had a bunch
so it was a meme.
Well, hey, listen, I mean, that's about all that you get. Conservatives even engage with news on is fucking memes. So that's about all I have to go on to figure out what your political opinion. So sorry. It seems to be the case. Yeah, that when you tell me when I say, have you read the criminal indictment? And you're like, oh, do I have to read the entire encyclopedia to have an opinion? That kind of seems like what it seems. No, yeah.
I didn't say it like that. I would happily read a document that you have read, so I can also take a look at it and, adjust or form an opinion based on that. So
cool.
I think I said that from the beginning. I wasn't trying to, not look at anything. Lauren and I both mentioned that, so I think, yeah, we're willing to look at the information. So
I'm just curious, since this guy, it's apparently okay to laugh at his death because he commented something silly on a meme on Twitter.
No, it was because he
What do you think?
supported an insurrectionist, to be clear. Stop mischaracterizing. My
Alright,
position is so simple. And unlike you guys, I actually own it. So I don't know why you guys keep misquoting my position. It's so simple. If you support an insurrectionist and shit happens to you, I don't really give a fuck. And if the way you die is funny, I'm going to laugh at it. That's my position. It's very simple from A to B to C, okay? You don't have to make more shit up. It's so easy to understand.
I think I cut out there for a second. Can you still hear me?
Loud and clear.
can hear you, Lauren.
Okay, yeah. Why do you keep bringing up the meme thing if it has nothing to do with why you think it's funny that he died?
That makes it more funny.
Okay, so it does make it funny.
It makes it more funny. It was funny before.
what
Now
do
it's extra funny.
What do you think should be done to insurrectionists or people that support insurrectionists? Like, in your opinion, what
Should be done? I mean, if you've engaged in insurrection, at the very least, if you've taken a prior oath to office in the United States, you should be barred from holding future office. That used to be part of our Constitution until the Supreme Court got rid of it because it was inconvenient for Trump. On a secondary level, I mean, if you've committed a crime, I mean, like crimes related to insurrection are kind of sketchy, so it doesn't really seem like there's ways to charge that, I don't think. So there's probably no criminal charge, but culturally, I think it should be heavily discouraged. In the United States of America, I don't think we should have a culture of accepting people that are engaged in, that want to have like a Sharia law enshrined in some kind of legal doctrine, or that want to engage in insurrection against the U.S. government. Like, yeah, these are things that I would consider anti-American. Yes.
Okay, so let's say, because you've talked a lot about how, you've got half the country that now support insurrection or whatever. How can we have a democracy after this? Let's say it's 60, 70% of Americans that, quote unquote, support an insurrection. What is the answer to that? If your analysis is correct and this was an insurrection, like, what should leftists do? If the
I mean, you either, at that point, I mean, you either stand and fight or you leave, I guess, right?
So
hey, quick question, Destiny. Oh, sorry, go on, Lauren. I'll ask after.
Yeah, what does stand and fight look like?
It depends on how you want to fight. What do you mean?
So if, let's say, Trump wins this upcoming election.
I don't know if you're trying to get me to Fed post my account. I'm not going to say some shit, especially some ex-guy here trying to get me to fucking get my shit banned, but it means exactly what you think it means. I'm not mincing words. I don't do what you guys do, where you're like, well, when they said, fight like hell and take your country back, they actually just meant march peacefully. When I say fight, I mean it in whatever sense you think I mean it is exactly how I mean it. Yes, that is what I mean. Yeah, of course. But also, to be clear, again, because I'm not a spineless, blubbery fuck, okay, like you conservatives are, I said the exact same thing with the January 6th protesters, where I said, if you legitimately think that the election has been stolen, if you think, then I understand why you would want to march and engage in violence and engage in insurrection. It makes sense to. If you think that your country's been stolen from you, which is what your corrupt president has led you to believe for year after year after year, then yeah, it makes sense why people would do it. Of course, I would hold the exact same standard for the left and the right there, the same one that I have held for both sides.
If Trump wins this upcoming election, you think that leftists should march on the Capitol violently?
Should they? I don't know. That's a pretty tough question at that point. I don't know. I guess it would depend on the actions. I'm not pussyfooting around. I can't read the future. There's a lot of people. First of all, you don't even know what's happening in the present. So the idea that you don't know what's happening in the present or the past, and you're trying to hold me to account for not predicting the future? Excuse me. Okay. Number one. Okay. It would depend on the actions, I guess, the president takes and what happens from that point. So I'm not sure.
Well, no, because you don't think he should be able to run for office again because he's an insurrectionist. So
Correct.
If he gets elected, he shouldn't be in office, right?
I mean, personally, that was how the Constitution went, and that's been changed, but...
So if you are a pro-American, if you love your country, you're a patriot, you should get up and probably do something about it, right?
What, like assassinate the president? I don't know if that would be the best idea.
It wouldn't be the best idea?
Probably not. You'd probably get caught. If stuff like this, if there's violence, this is the same autistic arguments that you retards use for fucking Ukraine and Russia, where somehow Ukraine gets blamed on Russia invading their territory and fighting back. You can't shoot missiles into Russia. It'll lead to World War III. Whatever happens past the Trump election, the conservatives own that. That's what I would say. Regardless of what happens, they own that. That's their thing. That's their path. That's the path that they put the country on.
I think you're leaving room to say, yeah, maybe people should do something violent about it.
No, first of all, that's been the conservative line. Hold on. I've never said that people should do something. I've never used those words, okay? I'm not saying people should, all right? Just the same way I haven't said on the left or right, people should do a particular thing. But I'm saying that if it happens, I don't have any fucking sympathy for it. I don't know what people should. And it's obvious, like, the path that people are putting us on. Like, that's a pretty obvious thing. That when you make a president and you start changing the rules for that president and you put him above criminal fucking conviction, what the fuck do you think is going to happen at that point? Like, it's an undeniable, unavoidable path that you're going down.
Okay, so Trump gets elected, people violently storm the Capitol. You're going to condemn that or not?
If Trump gets elected and people violently storm the Capitol, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it at the time. I'm leaning like 51% in supporting it, I guess. 49.
They start holding Marjorie Taylor Greene at gunpoint hostage. You're not sure 50%?
You laugh, but that's because in your world, all the actions are the same because you have no idea what the fuck is going on with anybody. You didn't even know how this insurrection worked 20 minutes ago, and now you're laughing. You're like, well, it's attacking every single person the exact same. Oh, like you're not even able to engage in the conversation. So I don't know why you're laughing when you ask. Like, well, if somebody attacks somebody that is anti-democratic, that advocates for the president to be held above all criminal liability, do you think that's the same thing as when people wanted to steal AOC shoes? Don't you think that's the same thing as when they? Yeah, that is what you're saying. If something happens, I don't know. You can ask me about it then. I'm not going to future predict every potential fucking thing.
I wasn't even referring to January 6th. I was just saying if leftists stormed the Capitol, violently held people hostage at gunpoint, would you defend that?
I would say that before Donald Trump tried an insurrection, I would be highly critical of all of that type of behavior. That's what I would say.
But you'd be less critical now.
Maybe. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
All right. Interesting.
I saw Diligent came up. Diligent, I have no hands, so I'm just going to go by who's come up and wants to speak.
I was
Diligent,
just kind of observing the exchange for a minute before I chimed in. I'm late to the party, so to speak, so I was kind of assessing Destiny's position because obviously he doesn't like it suggested. I was kind of waiting for him to clarify since I was late, but I think I get the gist of it. We won't get into hypotheticals. So we'll stick to what we know has occurred already. I think we can discuss that. What is your position on the Summer of Love? Is that an insurrection? Is that justifiable violence in the name of left-wing politics? Can you clarify your position on that? Because it kind of leads into what we saw.
I don't think that any
yesterday.
part of it was an insurrection. I'm not aware of any plans to overthrow the government. Also, you're talking about a huge range of protests. In parts of protests where there was rioting involved and people were either violent or breaking curfews, obviously I think that all of those people should be held as accountable as possible. I've never opposed any of that ever. I don't know why you're trying to ask me both sides on an issue. Just because you're too cowardly to take a side against your own political party on one thing doesn't mean that I am. I've been highly critical of riots in the past. I'm quite famous for it. So yeah, I would say that anybody that engaged in illegal behavior should be charged with illegal behavior. And for the rioting, there obviously was a lot of that. So I don't know what you want me to say for that you think is surprising there.
There was no insurrection. I don't know what this kid is talking about. There was no insurrection.
Okay, I mean we can walk through it from start to finish. Do you think that Donald Trump? Do you think that Donald Trump had 7 false slates of electors prepared for states that he knew that he was going to lose, or for states that he lost?
No. I'm talking about the march on the Capitol.
That's the ending point to the insurrection. All of this is leading up to it. All of this is part of it.
Yeah. So
I wasn't aware that Donald Trump had been convicted of insurrection. He hasn't, right?
That's great. No one is talking about being convicted.
We're going to keep it peaceful. You know, there are people, they marched towards the Capitol. There was a protest. Some people took it too far. A lot of idiots. They did some stupid shit.
I don't know why you're
Trump
repeating
said,
the same.
Okay. Respect our police.
We don't need. Yeah, I know that what you guys like tell each other when you like step into the bathrooms and you repeat the same shit over and over again. So if you want to talk, if you want to understand, then we can do it. But you have to walk through it from the very beginning.
You know, this.
Well, you have to, Michael. He's saying that the 2020 riots were riots, but the march on the Capitol, that's not a riot. That's an insurrection.
Sure. Okay, so for all that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
To overthrow the government.
Kat, can you make me a co-host? Jesus.
They didn't try and overthrow the government. They walked on the Capitol.
Yeah,
people took it too far. They went to the government. They were being walked through the hallway by police.
Nice.
And then they
left. We already watched the video. That's not what happened. So the insurrection, the insurrection was that Donald Trump tried to have false slates of electors that he wanted to be chosen on the election day so that he could be made the president even though he lost the vote. There was a whole process of doing that, and the culmination of that was on the day of January 6th. He invited. I haven't finished talking. Can you not hear? Do you have a memory issue? If I speak for too many words, do you lose the end of the sentence?
Shit.
Okay. Well, let me finish my sentence. Let me finish. I know that I'm not spinning a narrative. None of these people even. Nobody even denies any. Okay.
Tampering with insurrection.
What have I said so far that's incorrect? What have I said? Shut the fuck up. What do you play with the word? You guys play with this shit like every fucking day, dude. The leftist retards. What did I say that was incorrect, sir? What did I say that was incorrect, sir?
Like that, they don't make any
what did I say that was incorrect, sir?
What
What did I say that was incorrect?
You're conflating tampering with insurrection. These are two extremely fucking different things.
Insurrection doesn't have to happen in 1 day or 1 hour.
Okay. You're conflating two completely different.
What did I
things.
say that was
I don't
incorrect?
think you're conflating tampering with the word insurrection. Just like you probably don't understand the gravity of the word attempted assassination.
Good one. So the the insurrection. Well, it wasn't well done. He missed. Okay. The insurrection. Okay, was from the start to the finish. It was Donald Trump setting up false slates of electors and then bringing tens of thousands of people to the Capitol to have those people rush the Capitol in order to pressure the voters there using violence in order to select the fake electors that he had sent to Congress. That was the insurrection.
You mean when he said peaceful protest outside the Capitol?
No, I mean before that, when he said we need to force them to accept our lawful slate of electors, and we need Vice President Mike Pence to come through for us. That's what I'm talking about. You know that speech was more than just one line, right?
When you're talking about so that litigation could occur, he was talking about delaying the process so litigation could occur.
One, you don't get to delay the election because you're ass mad that you lost all your court cases. Number one, there was a time to challenge the election and it had come and passed. Okay. Number two, if you want to challenge it, there are means to do that. It's not to delay the certification of the fucking vote.
It wouldn't be illegal for Mike Pence to delay the process.
It absolutely would have been illegal. It would have been unconstitutional. And it would have been the completion. No, he couldn't have been. No, he couldn't. That's why he didn't do it. Thank God for him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Then what was the pressure for then? If he couldn't have done it, then what is the point of pressuring him if it wasn't possible for him to do it?
I didn't say it wasn't possible for him to do it. I said it's not possible to do it legally. He couldn't do it legally. But what do you think they were pressuring him to do? I'm curious. What do you think Donald Trump was referring to when he said we need Mike Pence to come through for us? What was Donald Trump talking about? Tell me.
He didn't have to verify it. He didn't have to verify.
So what did he want him to do?
He wanted him to delay. He wanted him to withhold the verifying it in the Capitol that day. That way litigation could occur so that he could get the final counts from certain states and allow some court cases to go through.
Yep.
That's what he was doing.
That's called a coup. You admit that is resisting the peaceful transfer of power. Yes, correct? That was the day to certify the votes and that he was trying to circumvent that process. Correct?
So wait a second.
No, wait. Answer that question. Correct? Was that correct? Did he try to delay the certification of the vote?
I don't have to abide by your
it's kind of my space. It's not a filibuster. It's trying to get you guys to be accountable for one time in your fucking life to answer a fucking question because none of you guys doing your own fucking dog shit programs.
I don't have to answer the way that you want me to, bro. The fact of the matter is that he called for a peaceful protest to pressure Mike Pence into legally delaying the process.
It wasn't legal. No, it wasn't legal. It wasn't legal. It wasn't legal. It wasn't legal.
It was not peaceful.
There you go. It wasn't peaceful. It wasn't legal, and it delayed the process, the certification. What do we call that, folks? With a plan to overthrow the government? That's an insurrection. That's an insurrection. That is it. Somehow hundreds of his followers didn't seem to get the message.
Okay, I just muted him for a second because like 4 of you are yelling and nobody can understand anything. So if we can just get 2 people back and forth instead of a group yelling at each other, because nobody can hear a thing. So I very much appreciate your time, Destiny, being here, and whoever is coming to speak. Please try to one at a time so that people can hear what you guys are saying, because it's just so jumbled. It's impossible to hear through the multiple people talking over each other.
I think we owe him answers, and that's fine. The important thing is discourse. He asked, was it peaceful? There were people there that were peaceful. There were people that were absolutely not. There were some bad apples there, and that's okay. We got to recognize that. At the end of the day, we have to recognize, 100%.
But that wasn't his question. His question was whether or not Donald Trump called for peaceful.
And it's a valid question. Was it peaceful? There were people there that were peaceful. There were people there that were absolutely not.
It's not a matter.
They were there to make trouble.
The question is, when Donald Trump sent those people to the Capitol, what was the goal?
It was
protest.
If the goal was just okay, that's fine. Okay,
they
was just a protest. It was just a protest on the day they certified the vote. Why is it that as soon as things got violent, why did Trump wait hours to call his dogs off?
I don't know. Why did Pelosi not bring in the proper
security measures? Who is this fucking retard?
Measures?
Who just spoke right here? how much of my money goes to welfare to take care of you every day? Can you even fucking dress yourself? Can you wipe your own ass, you fat fucking retard? I don't know who the fuck is mentioning Pelosi right now. My question was very simple, okay? My question was very simple. Do you need me to repeat it? Why didn't Donald Trump call off the sycophantic savages that were rioting at the Capitol? Why didn't he call them off if his goal was just to have a peaceful protest? Not for hours. Why did he wait hours to do it? Why did he wait hours to do it? Why did he wait hours to do it?
It's recorded.
Why did he wait hours to do it?
But he didn't. It was
really?
He's not in charge, bro. Was he in charge?
Yes, he literally was in charge. Yeah, he was still the president. Yes.
So you asked me why I brought up Pelosi. You don't know how the administration runs the Capitol and Capitol security. That's why I brought up Pelosi. He wasn't in charge of Capitol security. Pelosi was. The House was. DC Police was. That is who was responsible for security that day. And the reason why he waited so long is because he didn't know exactly what was going on, because he wasn't the one directly in charge.
He didn't know exactly what was going on while he sat and watched it on TV, drinking a Diet Coke with staffer after staffer coming in and begging him to call off his dogs when he was making phone calls to McCarthy saying, well, I guess some people are more...
That's what happened? You have evidence that's what happened?
Yes,
or is that
it's laid out in all the indictments. His own fucking daughter testifies to this. Mark Meadows, every other fucking person, nobody denies this. Only you retards that are on your knees, okay? Trying to lick up the slurps of fucking cum up from Donald Trump on the floor. Deny this shit. Nobody denies it but you. Why are you denying when even Donald Trump isn't denying it? Nobody denies this. Do you think anything that I'm saying right now is contested? That Donald Trump didn't sit in his office, didn't sit in his fucking room, drinking a Diet Coke for like 3 hours while people begged him to call off the riots?
Buddy, that's not what happened. He posted right on Twitter, respect the police. You got to back down. Get out of there.
3 hours. Wait, hold on. Do you deny? No, wait. I just want to have this one thing.
Wouldn't that be conceding that he was responsible for them?
Right?
Wouldn't it?
Only if he did it at the very beginning. It seems like the fact that he let it run on for hours.
You mean when he called for a peaceful protest?
The fact that he let it happen.
That's what you're talking about?
If you called for a peaceful protest and your protesters were not peaceful, would you wait 3 hours to tell them to be peaceful?
He told them to be peaceful before there was even a riot. What are you talking about?
And when there was a riot,
he's no longer in control like anybody else.
He's no longer in control. Then why is it that after he tweeted out, hey guys, we need to respect the police and go home? Why did people go home after that?
You have to ask them. I mean,
how about we use our fucking brain for like 2 seconds? What do you mean I have to ask them? They were there on Donald Trump's orders. They were there marching 1776. We need to like get Mike Pence to save our fucking country. Why is this such a fucking mystery for you to figure out what they were there exactly for? When he told them to go and get Mike Pence to do the right thing, what was the right thing? What were they marching for? What is 1776? What does that mean?
What do you mean when he said protest peacefully during
It means he was giving enough plausible deniability for spineless hacks like you to come onto Twitter to try to defend him, even though every single reasonable person knows exactly what's happening when he tells him to go down and encourage Mike Pence to do the right thing, because if you don't fight like hell, you're going to lose your country from the congressman trying to steal it from you.
So you want us to believe the implications?
I feel like every retarded thing that comes out of your mouth starts with "so you." Can you not engage with like a single fucking?
Believe implications, and not directly what he says. Ignore what he said directly, and just go into what it all implies altogether, up to 3 hours after the fact. Right? Like, it's ridiculous, dude.
Are suspenseful movies made like more enjoyable to you with like having no short-term memory? Like, does it just make life more entertaining in general? Or if like what is it like having a mind that can only hold about like 7 words at a time in it? Like,
I have to admit it, man. Destiny, I totally disagree with you, but these comebacks are funny as shit.
I mean, you gotta admire his energy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the energy.
It's crazy because in any other circumstance, like the president says, "Hey, here's the plan in the simplest terms." President says, "Let's get 7 states to make fake electors. Okay, we're gonna send them to the Capitol, and I'm gonna have a talk with Pence and say, Pence, you really need to come through for us. Okay, I'm gonna tweet out a ton of pressure on Pence to come through for us, whatever the fuck that means. Then I'm gonna invite all of my fans on the day they do the certification, the day that I plan to rig it, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rile them all up there. Okay, I know that there are people in the audience with weapons. I know that my Secret Service told me that." And I know that they're all riled up. I'm going to send them to the Capitol saying they need to tell Mike Pence to do the right things and choose the lawfully elected slaters. And then when they go to the Capitol and they start rioting, okay, okay? I'm going to sit in my room and I'm going to make phone calls, and Giuliani's going to make phone calls to lawmakers saying, maybe you guys should delay the certification. Maybe some of these people are more mad than you are. Maybe that's your fault, guys. And then after 3 hours, when this doesn't happen, when a lady gets shot in the basement, then Donald Trump comes out and he tweets, okay, guys, time to go home because his little plot failed. It's so obvious for anybody. There's that through line. And the saddest fucking part is Donald Trump's defense to all of this isn't to say that didn't happen. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. His defense is to go before the Supreme Court of the United States and say, I need absolute criminal immunity unless I've been impeached for a crime. After the Republicans said we can't impeach him, he's already out of office. That's Donald Trump's defense. Your defense is to fabricate and deny. Donald Trump didn't even bother denying. He said that I was the president. I can't be criminally prosecuted for it. Who are you carrying water for?
Okay, we have definitely not advice. She has her hand up. Definitely not advice. You're a speaker. You can unmute. And if you have a question or a comment for Destiny, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I fully understand the argument here is that because Donald J. Trump didn't respond quickly enough to shut down whatever was happening on January 6th, we are making fun of people being shot at his rally because some random lone gunman decided to shoot at him for whatever reason, and therefore that's acceptable, and we're going to completely ignore the fact that within the last 2 weeks, Joe Biden made a comment about putting Donald Trump in the bullseye, and then having multiple tweets sent out with that. Years of people calling him Hitler and indicating that we need to shut down all of these awful MAGA people at any cost. We're just ignoring all of that, and we're just going to go ahead and focus on the fact that he was drinking a Diet Coke, which, by the way, I'm glad he was drinking a Diet Coke. At least it wasn't full sugar, okay? A Diet Coke for the win. That's great for your diet. I'm glad he's really worried about his health. But to be clear, we're more worried about the fact that he was delayed in acting allegedly for January 6th, and not that for the last year, 2 or more, people have been calling for action against any Republican who agrees with Donald Trump, and that we should put him in the bullseye. That's totally normal and acceptable, according to you, because he delayed his acting on January 6th. Just want to make sure we're 100% clear here.
You know, some people, they'll eat like the whole Oreo, and then other times they twist them and then they like eat the frosting first because everybody has like their own process. I'm curious for you, do you like suck out like the blue parts of the Tide Pods first, or do you eat the whole thing in one bite when you're chowing down on them every night? I've got to know.
You know,
is it the
like
whole Tide Pod, or do you do it part by
things.
part? Do you put out like 10 of them and eat the white part like in all 10 of them and then eat the rest of it? Or what a retarded fucking summary of everything that I fucking said. Yeah, you sound like a fucking extra
really
in My Cousin
it.
Vinny, okay? Thanks for the input, okay? I'm done. I'm good. I'm out. Okay. All right. Fuck conservatives. I'm over it. I'm way the fuck over it. I'm way the fuck over it. Okay? If you are, listen, we've been too nice. Okay? I know that I've picked up some conservative fans. Okay? Over the past few years. Maybe. I don't know how long. Okay? Just know that if you end up at one of these protests, okay, I'll be tweeting about you. All right? I need all of you to get the fuck out. I know I got more. I know I've got more than 1,000 of you, okay? You are disgusting, anti-American, anti-patriotic fucks, and you are the cancerous rot that is destroying my fucking country, okay? That's what I think about you. That's what I'm going to think about you if something happens to you at an event, if something happens to all of your fucking whatever, I'm going to tweet that, and I'm going to have a jolly old time, okay? Don't forget it. I'm not joking. I'm not being unhinged. Well, I might be unhinged, but I'm not joking. I'm not going to change my mind tomorrow, okay? Don't ever fucking forget this, okay? Okay. Anyway. What do you want?
You have the worst fucking audience.
Yeah, I have the worst audience of all the. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I'm glad you're new to the internet. You haven't been engaged with a lot of audiences, but go ahead, tell me what else.
I have spent years being questioned on your stream thousands of times for being a fucking stochastic terrorist over and over again. What are you implying by that, Lauren? What are you going to push your audience to do if you say that the situation is X amount of hopeless? Constantly constantly on your stream by Pisco, by Lycan, by everyone. The one time I do the same thing to you and I say, hey, what did you mean by that? Do you think that your rhetoric might lead people to think a violent insurrection against, I don't know, Trump if he's elected next election might lead to something like that? Might make it sound like it's okay? Your audience are literally on Reddit saying blacklist me forever because I'm trying to get you banned, as if I would ever support that.
Unhinged. This is the difference, okay? I don't do stochastic terrorism. I just do terrorism, okay? I'm not out here like denying the implications of things that I'm saying. It's pretty obvious. I'm not trying to walk in the back. I'm just not like going to go to the max extent of like Fed posting on a fucking Twitter space where everybody's max fucking reporting me. However, one thing I will say, I'm going to reiterate this, and I said this over and over and over again in the past. You can go back and watch every single Jan 6 video I did, okay? I said over and over and over again, I said, listen, if you think that the election was legitimately fucking stolen, you should be doing an insurrection. You're literally having your country stolen from you. I would understand why people would engage in violent protests there. I've said that over and over and over again. People seem to have this idea that because I've said, oh, these people shouldn't be violently protesting, that means that there's like never a case where that is like what should happen. The issue I've had in the past is that usually the people are saying it for retarded reasons. So for instance, well, the biggest issue that I have with people on the left is when they say things like, oh, fuck voting, we shouldn't do that, we just need to violently protest. Why the fuck would you say fuck voting and go right to violence? That doesn't make any sense, right? That doesn't mean that in every single case I think it's necessarily a bad thing to do. I'm just saying that in the circumstances people advocated for, it's generally fucking retarded because the factual foundation is not there. That's what I've said. You can go back and find it over and over again where I've said over and over again, but...
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're consistent. But would you agree with your audience in blacklisting me for my line of questioning?
Well, I haven't blacklisted you, have I? But everybody, it sounded like you were hardcore Fed posting. I determine my blacklist, not my audience.
I'm really trying to figure out the level of unhinged we are dealing with right now. Like
the level of unhinged. I was pretty clear in what I say. I said again, the level of unhinged is if people get blown away at fucking rallies or whatever the fuck where they're championing like an insurrectionist, I have no sympathy for it. That's like if you want, we can have an off-stream conversation about the full implications. I wouldn't advocate for violence. I don't think anybody should go out and be killing anybody for a variety of reasons, of which I detailed in that space. I think that the first step should always be legal processes. The next step should always be committed forms of nonviolent protest. And then if it escalates, then you start going through, I guess, violent changes. You really feel like you have to. But those are like your pathways. You have to exhaust every stage before you move to the next.
So if the legal processes don't work, but you disagree with them, because I keep hearing you say like, oh, Trump keeps getting away with it anyways. Like he's just getting away with it. They're letting him, pardon all of his friends, all of this. Isn't this kind of similar to the opinions that right-wingers have towards the election? Oh, the processes aren't working properly, therefore I get to rise up.
Let's say that in a country, somebody passed a law saying that we were allowed to fuck children as young as 2 years old. And let's say that in another country, somebody passed a law that lowered the tax bracket for billionaires from 39% to 35%. Do you think that both people have equal justification for protesting those laws?
Sorry, repeat that.
If a country passes a pro-child rape law and another country changes their tax brackets, do you think that both people in both countries have equal justification for protesting the laws?
Okay, well, I think in both cases, it's just a matter of, I don't think that Trump not being charged is equivalent to.
I never said it was equivalent.
Child rape.
I didn't say it was equivalent.
I think it was.
I'm asking you for I'm asking you.
Yeah, no, of course it's not.
Okay, there you go. Okay, but the reason why is because you're doing in your mind a factual analysis of what the people are protesting. So when you say, Destiny, when you say that you could protest this or you wouldn't have sympathy with this, isn't this kind of like what right-wingers said? Well, I mean, in terms of like the actions, maybe, but the underlying factual analysis is entirely fucking different. When conservatives say things like, oh no, progressives are stealing the government, they don't have a factual foundation generally to say things like that. When people say, oh no, Donald Trump is fundamentally altering like the power of like how the branches are operating in order to serve his own interests, there is a factual foundation for that, I would argue. So I would say there's a difference in both scenarios.
Do you think that if you've got that factual foundation, which don't get me wrong, I am interested in, when you were talking about the actually reading the indictments, and clearly when you do your debates, most of the people who do them against you haven't read them. I haven't read them. I'll be honest with that. I'm very interested in reading them. In fact, listening to some of your content has made me interested in actually delving into that content and made me think twice about, the people I follow on Twitter don't usually share that stuff. It is kind of annoying that a lot of the politics is over memes and this and that. And it's kind of cool to hear when you talk about, oh, here's some things you should check out, Lauren. Do you think you might be hurting your chances of doing that more by telling every conservative that follows you to fuck off and never subscribe to your channel again and that you hate them all?
I would never, I didn't say that to conservatives. I just said to people that support Donald Trump. There's a few conservatives out there who don't.
I'm like 90% sure you said conservative. You're like, I'm sure we've got 1,000 conservatives left here. You can all fuck off.
I think I said over and over again, conservatives support Trump. But you know what? If I misspoke, that if you're a conservative and you don't support Trump, you're welcome here. You're our favorite type of conservative because the Republican Party sure as fuck doesn't want you. Not you personally.
Aren't the conservatives that support Trump the exact people you want to be listening to what you're saying? Like you've got.
I don't know if those people are. I don't know. I don't know if I can reach those.
Pretty
people.
sure he supports Trump. Would you, if you could take it back, would you not do that drinking game with Michael Knowles?
Well, at this point, absolutely, I would take it back. Yeah, fuck me.
You would, okay.
Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't take it back, but the start of it would be me grilling him on I would read the first question, and then I would ask him about the insurrection. And then I would do that for probably about 25 minutes till he kicks me off his show. That's probably what we would do.
I think your most interesting arc has been all of these debates you've been doing lately with people that you haven't been able to access in the past. You've been able to have fascinating conversations.
I understand.
That just weren't going on before because you had
listen?
like a level of
I
being
understand.
able to
That's
be a
great.
little reasonable.
That's great. When you say that, okay, it's like somebody saying, like, one of my favorite things about you is the fact that your dad is from Kentucky, okay? That's not what I want to be known for. That's not what I want to be remembered for, whatever capacity it is. That's not what I want to be famous for, okay? My strengths are in debate, and I think they're in research, information acquisition, and hopefully some kind of rhetoric, okay? It's not
How are you going to debate anybody if you have personally attacked them all into oblivion? Every single right-winger on Twitter right now, you've just like...
How am I going to debate anyone when I go on their shows and the only way to talk to them is if I treat them like a Down syndrome-ridden fucking 2-year-old? None of the things I've had were debates. My conversation with Ben Shapiro wasn't a debate. Jordan Peterson wasn't a debate. Candace Owens wasn't a debate. None of these were debates. Seb Gorka wasn't a fucking debate. None of these things have been debates. It's been me going there and then giving them the privilege of surviving a conversation with me saying, wow, I talked to Destiny. It wasn't that bad because I had to treat them like fucking children. Otherwise, they'll be like Constantine where they shit themselves online because I've dared to fucking challenge the status quo that these centrist, spineless fuck hacks who only carry water for Trump exclusively have managed to do for year after year after year because nobody calls them out on it.
So who is good enough to debate Destiny? Who is good enough?
Somebody that is actually adheres to their principles, can have a challenging and critical conversation without running and screaming, and who's not a sellout fuck. Unfortunately, it's all a bunch of small fuck. That guy that you saw in that last thing that was screaming at me, Rob Knorr, that's one of them. That's the guy who can have a conversation. We can scream at each other back and forth. Who actually reads fucking shit and goes through stuff. There are people in my community that I have conversations with. It's unfortunately just going to be smaller content creators. People like Tim Pool have too much of a vested interest in keeping themselves stupid and keeping their audiences stupid to have critical conversations. That's why they bring people on and they don't prep them on the fucking topics and they just bring up like fake fucking news on their monitor to read off so that they can fucking have their debates and do their mutual dick sucking contests. And then same thing with every other fucking quote unquote centrist channel, right? How do you call yourself, Lauren, how do you call your program Trigonometry? And then you get triggered because I have a little joke at some fucking dude getting blown away at some fat fuck at some pro-Putin fucking loser at a Trump rally. That's the thing that triggers you. Like, oh, I can't have this guy on my show anymore. Bullshit. Eat shit, motherfucker. How many jokes do you think this guy has made at BLM people dying? Or do you think he's made Pelosi husband jokes? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? These people are not edgy. They're not centrist. They're not triggering anybody. They're just fucking conservative dick sucks. That's all they are.
Listen, if Constantine has made a joke about a BLM rider that wasn't actively attacking or trying to kill someone getting, murdered, yeah, I think that was pretty hypocritical. I don't think he has, though. Don't think he has.
Okay. Well, I'll go looking for it later on and we'll find out.
Okay, and I'm going to read those indictments. Anyways, I think you'll have a lot more interesting conversations in the future if you just
hold on. You're not understanding me. You're not understanding me. You're misunderstanding me, okay? In your world, an interesting conversation is where me and Jordan Peterson see how lightly we can touch our dicks together, okay, for 2 hours, okay, without making the other person come or cry. That's, in your mind, that's an interesting conversation. I don't consider those to be successful conversations. I don't like any conversation I've had this year with any conservative figure. I don't like any of them. All of them have been garbage conversations. I've enjoyed conversations I had in the blood sports era more than any of the conversations with any of these fucking hacks. Okay, so I understand what you're saying in terms of like, oh, well, I think that these conversations are good. They aren't good. They're not good. They were a waste of time. And now I regret that I've let some people slide by thinking that I think the conduct that's acceptable is acceptable when I don't think that it is. That's my issue. So
you know, we'll find
Okay,
a.
so if I read these indictments, will we have a conversation about it later, or because I'm, thinking about maybe supporting Trump, or are we just going to blacklist me from the stream?
I haven't blacklisted anybody. We can have a conversation about the indictments if you want, but I'm not going to blacklist you from my stream. I'm just saying that. Never mind, I won't say that. Listen, if you want to read them and then have a chat with me, then we can have a chat with them. Sure.
Wait, will you fucking hate that conversation? Never want to have it?
If I can have I don't hate
said-
I don't hate conversation. If I can have a critical conversation. I haven't had that conversation. I haven't had that critical conversation with any other conservative person. They can't have critical conversations. They break down and they cry and they shit themselves and then they piss themselves and they come all over themselves in the corner, okay? Whenever they are challenged, even remotely, by any of these things.
All right, send me all of the documents you think are relevant to the conversation we're going to have. I will read them. Might take me a little while, but I will read them and we can have that conversation, all right?
Okay. Be careful. Stay safe.
All right. Bye.